It is the first time ever these two teams have ever met. The tradition is long, and it is a great one. The Joliet Catholic Hilltoppers will begin the 1990s in a new building, but the same old tradition and the same rousing spirit follows them, but it also is just 20 miles down the road, Interstate 80 and into Morris. And in Grundy County, the Morris football team is #1 in the state of Illinois in 4A. They, too, have a great tradition of football expertise, and they will bring their unbeaten record today, and their Zorro marks will try and be put upon the Hilltoppers to see who is indeed the best in the state of Illinois. Morris says, watch out. The Hilltoppers say, welcome to Joliet. The JCA playoffs begin. The Joliet Catholic Hilltoppers against Morris in our high school football game of the week. Not normally do two unbeaten teams ranked #1 and #2 in the state meet in the opening of the playoffs, but today that will be the battle. The moment of truth has arrived here at Joliet Memorial Stadium. Hello again, everyone. I'm Joe Passion, along with Mac McLaughlin, and I guess you don't get a game of this magnitude, Mac, so early in the playoffs, but you remember this stadium. A lot of games had this magnitude, and the place was filled up, much like it seems it will be today.
Well, I can remember coming back over here and watch Charlie Choo-Choo Winters and Wurstbahn and Winterstein play Bloom High School, and there were over 10,000 people in standing room only, even on the track. So this is that type of ball game. It's great for the area. It's great for football.
The Redskins of Morris, 9-0, ranked #1 in 4A. They have won the Little Seven Conference for the 4th year in a row, and they come in with an offense led by the head coach's son. Mac will talk about that kid because he does a lot of things, and he's got people that can help him.
Well, John Darlington's a great quarterback, has great knowledge of the football game, and has an excellent arm. He's backed up by two outstanding halfbacks. A trio of gained over 2,000 yards in Nasser Bacteria and John Edwards. Great running backs, 4.5 speed. They can explode at any time. Plus, they have Brad Steele, the fine split end. Catholic's going to have a great time of trying to contain that quartet.
And for the Joliet Catholic Hilltoppers, also 9-0. Again, winners in the East Suburban Catholic Conference under second-year head coach Bob Stone. Bring in an offense and senior veteran quarterback Jason Nedlow. Nedlow last year had some problems in the playoffs, but he is ready this year. He can throw the ball, but he leads an offense that rushes the ball extremely well. Al South is their leading rusher, Holman the big fullback, and they can go to the air to the Freeman kid on the outside. And, of course, defensively, one thing that Morris has to be concerned about is they're without Chris Handley, their outstanding inside linebacker. He bruised a kidney in their victory over Wabanzi Valley in the regular season finale. He will not suit up for today's game, but that's a defense that's big, brawny, and beefy, and they feel that's where it's going to be brutal.
Well, it's going to be a real tough game. Now, you go to the Catholic High defense. Great strategy and great kids there. They've got a big, strong line with anchored by Gray and Jones and those kids. They've got to contain Morris with that defense. Those front four are the important key to Catholic High's defense.
Bob Stone, the head coach, they call it the Stone Age here, but I'll tell you what, they're in the 90s. Looks pretty contemporary to me. Dan Darlington also has a great contemporary bit of tradition of his own in Morris. We talked to both coaches about today's playoff game.
Well, Joe, we feel that, with Joliet Catholic's tradition and the great teams they've had up here, and that's all we've heard about for years and years. Even when I was in high school, was Joliet Catholic, and we feel that this year is, we played some big ball games over the years and coached in some big ball games, and we feel this year is right up there in the top 3 of any ball game that we've ever coached or played in, and we're real excited about playing today. I know our kids are, and the whole community is, and we're just going to go out and do the best job we can and go after them.
What concerns you most about the Hilltoppers on the field?
Well, you know, their running game, you know, we feel that it's a real good running game. They got that big offensive line and those big linemen, and, you know, their backs run hard. And, you know, we got to try to slow down their running game and get the ball for our offense.
The magnitude of this game, people are kind of going back in history when this place used to fill up with 10,000 fans for a high school football game. How do you compare with what the magnitude of this game has in store?
Well, I think probably it's pretty much the same, you know, with the old Mount Carmel games or probably the Lockports and the Joliet West, Joliet Centrals. You know, we've got two programs with unbelievable history, state championships, undefeated seasons, 20 miles apart that have never played each other, and suddenly we got one game for all the marbles, and that's what it is today.
What concerns you most about Morris today that might give you trouble, or you hope to give them trouble?
Well, I think, first of all, we can give them some trouble. I think offensively we present some problems for them. I also think they do the same for us. You know, they can run, they run on any down, they pass on any down. And, you know, I think that's something that makes it very difficult for a defense to, you know, try to manage with.
You may recall the Illinois High School Association had originally scheduled the 4A state football championship game for Hancock Stadium down in Bloomington Normal on Friday night, November 23rd. A lot of people, Mac, think that game is being played here in the stadium this afternoon.
Well, they're mighty right. And what a place to have it. Memorial Stadium, a great stadium to watch football. Two great teams. Regardless of where they're going to play at, this is the game to win. It's going to be a great football game.
And we will have the starting lineups and the opening kickoff of today's 4A playoff opener between the Morris Redskins and the Joliet Catholic Hilltoppers right after this Game of the Week timeout.
As host of a great party, you want to make sure your friends have a real good time, but you also want to make sure they get home safely. That's why Beer Drinkers of America reminds you to party smart. As the party winds down, a smart host closes the bar, offers his friends non-alcoholic beverages, and serves a fresh round of snacks. A smart host also keeps his eye on his guests and doesn't let anyone attempt to drive home who shouldn't. Be smart. Make yours a party everyone will remember.
It's time for You Lost Your Life with your hosts, Christ Dummies, Vince and Larry. Hi.
Hello, and welcome to the show that proves if you don't buckle your safety belt, the loser is you.
That's right, Vince, and by not buckling up, you could end up in places you never dreamed.
Like traction!
Or the emergency room!
Plus, Larry, if you're not buckled up, you could maybe take a ride in a beauty like this. Stay tuned!
You could learn a lot from a dummy. Buckle your safety belt.
From Joliet Memorial Stadium, the Illinois High School Association Class 4A playoffs begin. And with a game that many consider will be the state final, the Morris Redskins, 9-0, winners of the Little Seven Conference under Coach Dan Darlington against the Joliet Catholic Academy Hilltoppers, also 9-0, and winners of their conference in the East Suburban Catholic. Bob Stone, the head coach of the Hilltoppers, in his second year, he, like Jim Boyder before him and Gordy Gillespie 5 times before him, is looking for his first state championship as a head coach of Joliet Catholic. Hello again, everyone. Joe Passion back with Mac McLaughlin, and I guess the lords of up above are football fans indeed. Maybe Lou Holtz was right, because it is heavenly weather today, 70 degrees, very little wind, clear blue skies, and Dan Darlington and the Morris Redskins about to take on the Joliet Catholic Hilltoppers. The Hilltoppers will be defending the south end zone to open up the game in front of what is looking like about a crowd of 9,000 plus here at Joliet Memorial Stadium. The Hilltoppers in their brown jerseys, brown helmets, the gold and white trim. The Morris Redskins in their white jerseys and the dark red, maroon, and gold trim. Joliet Catholic has won 6 state championships over the years. Morris has won 2. Morris has finished as a semifinalist twice. Make that 3 times. And back is the crowd, of course, welcoming the Hill to their home field to host this opening game. Kicking off for Morris will be number 23, Mark Barnes. He's got a good foot. The wind is blowing from the kicker's right buttocks back across it. It's a crosswind of about just 8 miles an hour from the bottom right corner of your screen across to the top left corner of your screen at about 8 miles an hour. Deep to receive the kick for the Hilltoppers will be Darren Freeman on the near side of the field and number 41, Jim Lynch, on the far side of the field. The crowd is on their feet, and we are ready for the high school football playoffs to begin. Far end of the field, Lynch at the 9. Brings it up the far sideline, and he is tackled there at the 22-yard line. Number 60, and on the tackle, Greg Gallo. And let's start with the Joliet Catholic offense, and they will be receiving. Opening up for the Hilltoppers, 9-0 on the season, is quarterback Jason Nedlow. He's a senior. He'll be backed up by the big fullback Brian Holman, Jim Lynch, and 1,000-plus yard runner Mike Alstott in the backfield. Darren Freeman with 325 yards receiving is one of the receivers, and Jeff Bonebreak, the other receiver. He is tight on the near side of the field. 1st and 10 for the Hilltoppers from the 22. The handoff is to number 33, Holman, and he gets across the 25-yard line to the 26. The offensive front for Joliet Catholic is centered by 5'11", 205 Rob Espalic. He's flanked on his right by Curly McGraw, 6', 240, and 6'4", 245 Eric Gray. On the left side is Ed Schmidt, 5'10", 210, and John Horn, 6'6", 250 pounds, is the left tackle. 2nd down and 5, and this time it is Alstott, and he gets only a pickup of about a yard or so. It is brought down by Mike Green coming up from his quarterback position. Here's a look at the Morris defense this year, which shut out most of its opponents. They only gave up 40 points over the course of the season. Mike Artcreed and Greg Gallo are the ends. Newman and Fabella the tackles, and Jason Saunders is the junior nose guard. Raines and Al Johnson are the linebackers. Thomas and Green, the corners. Edwards and Steele are in the secondary. 3rd down and 3 yards from the 29. The handoff is to Holman. He has got the 1st down out to the 33. 1st and 10 Hilltoppers.
Well, now we see the power of both teams. They're going to come right at each other as they go for their attack. Alstott, a great running back, has to be stopped on the first hit. If you give him a second chance, he's going to make plus yardage as he did on that play. The Morris defense is playing awful tight, so look for Coach Stone to do something with the air.
Johnson is the player that is replacing the injured Morris linebacker Hanley, who injured a kidney against Wabanzi Valley. Nedlow is back to throw, and he is in trouble, and he has to throw an incompleted pass. Number 60 is in there, Greg Gallo, along with number 43, making a come in on the rush, Brandon Steele from his strong safety position. We will see a lot of looks from the defensive front line of Morris. They want to force Jason Nedlow to throw the ball. They did on that play, and it worked. The secondary covering in the secondary area.
Well, Nedlow had plenty of time. He did not drop back far enough as he's looking for Bonebreaker in the far corner.
It is 2nd and 10 from the 33-yard line for the Hilltoppers, moving from our left to our right. Here's the trap play that works for them so well. Jim Lynch, the ball carried to the 40. A pickup of 7 yards on the play. Brought down there by number 50, Steve Raines, one of the linebackers. We talked earlier about the only injury that either team has to talk about today, and that is Todd Hanley. He started all year and was the 3rd leading tackler on the team for the Morris Redskins. He's a linebacker, but Hanley hurt his kidney in the regular season finale against Waubonsie Valley, the game that Morris captured the Little 7 conference title from. Hanley lost for the season, and in his position is Al Johnson, 61. The handoff is to Alstott. He's across the 40 to the 43-yard line, and out finally to the 44, brought down again by Brandon Steele, number 43.
And again, you see the great second effort, great backs. This young kid is only a junior, and the coach is saying he may be the finest halfback in Catholic High's long tradition. And that says a lot when you're talking about the great backs they've had. But again, you saw his second effort is what counts. He was cut short of that time, but again, his second effort made that first down.
1st and 10 for the Hill from the 44. The handoff is to Holman, and he's taking everybody with him. He has a first down to the 45.
And he's the key. The fullback has to make the ball go for their offense to run, I feel. And Brian Holman is a great big 235-pound fullback who is just carrying people down the field with that great front wall in front of him.
Eric Gray and Brent McGraw led that blocking on the right side of the line for the Hillmen. Brian Holman, 6'2", 230 pounds, has rushed for 505 yards this year. Nedlow brings the Hilltoppers to the line of scrimmage from the 45. The trap is to Lynch, and he is hit hard at the line of scrimmage. He may have gotten a gain of about a yard or so. Making the stop for the Morris Redskins was number 61. That's Big Al Johnson, the man who is replacing Hanley at the linebacker position.
The thing that Catholic High wants to do is they've got to spread the Morris defense out. They're playing awful tight with about 9 guys within 5 yards of the line of scrimmage. He's going to have to spread out, maybe throw the ball with some success on short passes to break up that tight defense.
A pickup of 1. It's 2nd and 9 from the 44-yard line. Hilltoppers long count, and there is the run by Alstott. He's to the 40. A pickup of about 3 yards on the play.
Again, they're running those inside traps, which is a Catholic High tradition. This time, Alstott is being stopped with those type of runs. But they're going to set that up with a bootleg and see Nedlow running out to try and hit Bonebreaker or Freeman in the flats. I think they might be wide open.
Joliet Catholic rushed for over 280 yards per game this year, and you're seeing part of the reasons why. Single setback out of the double slot, and it's to Holman. He bowls his way, and a great tackle there by the Redskins. Number 80 coming up to make the stop is Ron Thomas, the defensive end. He's only 6 foot 174, but Mac, he played that like a bruiser.
Well, he hit Holman where you have to hit him down low or wrap him around the knees to hold the big guy out. And if he hadn't, he might have made first down. Now we're going to see what Catholic High is all about as we see a 4th down play coming up.
4th down, and we'll call it a long yard and a half from the 37-yard line. It's Holman, left side. He's tripped up and looks like he'll have the first down. He does. Inside the 35, he's to the 34, and it's a first down Hilltoppers. They've had 3 first down in this series, all on the run.
Shades of Gordy Gillespie. 4th down, we remember when old Gordy was down there, where you have a 4th down, he'd go for it. Just another running play. He said, hey, why punt? Let's go and we make it. Great confidence in his offensive line.
Nedlow, who this season has rushed only 15 times for 11 yards, he doesn't need to run. He gives it to guys like Brian Holman. He's inside the 30 to the 28. And again, coming up to make the stop was Thomas, along with number 63, helping out there, Aaron Acree. And there's the capacity crowd at Joliet Memorial Stadium looking on as the Redskin defense looks at a 2nd down and 5 from just inside the 30-yard line. 6:35 into the 6:35 left, rather, in the first quarter. The trap is to Alstott, and he is covered there by maroon, white, and gold. Johnson is one of the men making the stop. Al Johnson, 6'3", 255. He also plays baseball, and I tell you, he could probably hit that ball a mile for Coach Denny Steele, the baseball coach, and also one of the assistant football coaches for Dan Darlington here at Morris.
And we talk about the Catholic High offense. Remember, that Morris defense is a tough defense, too. They're ranked 1 or 2 in the Will County area.
3rd down and 4, and again, off right tackle they go, and maybe a yard or 2 to about the 25-yard line. It'll be short of a first down by about 2 yards. So the Hilltoppers, again, look at a 4th down situation. 4th, and again, we'll call it a long yard and a half with under 6 minutes to play. Jeff Bonebreak brings in the new play for the Hilltoppers, and the crowd again has reason to be on their feet. 4th and 2. It's Holman. He might be short. One's into a wall at the 30, rather at the 29. That's where they needed to get to.
He's short.
Johnson again in on the stop for Morris, and there is an official timeout for measurement with 5:25 left in a scoreless first quarter. And let's now go down to the sidelines and join our man there, Mike Zaworski.
Well, when you try to put this game into perspective, look at the two offensive lines. For Catholic High, their offensive line adds up to 1,150 pounds, the smallest guy being Rob Ospelek at 200 pounds. For Morris, well, they have a lot of beef too. 1,200 pounds, their smallest offensive lineman, Tim Murphy at 215 pounds. Joe and Mac, those are some big boys out there.
Both teams are beefy up front, and now it's time to take a look at the Morris Redskin offense. Head coach Dan Darlington's son, Big John, 6'2", 200 pounds, is the quarterback, and he throws right away. And on the little flea flicker to the near side of the field, he finds number 43, Brandon Steele, and he is torn down by number 7 for the Hilltoppers. On the coverage is Pete Carroll. The Morris Redskin offense with Darlington at quarterback. Two quick backs, and Jeff Edwards and Nasser Bapteria both run the 40 and 4.5. Viano, Ray, and Steele are the wideouts. And, of course, they have a beefy front line. We'll get to those names in a moment as we look at a second down and 6 yards to go for Morris from their own 29-yard line. And again, Darlington throws, and he throws down low. I believe someone got a hand on that ball. Possibly Mike Rampa or Tom Snyder may have deflected that pass. Here's the offensive line starters for Morris. Tim Murphy is the center at 6'1", 215. Johnson, 255 at 6'3", is right guard. Craig Newman, the right tackle, 6'3", 265. On the left side, Aaron Acree, 6'3", 218. And the left tackle is Bob Fabella, 6'1", 232 pounds. After the incompletion, it's 3rd and 6 from just inside the 30. And again, Darlington back to pass. He's got a man open and overthrows. On the coverage was number 21 for the Hilltoppers, and that's Scott Wang. But there is a penalty flag in the offensive backfield, holding against the offense.
And there's going to be a lot of that because a great charge by that Catholic High defensive line. Really made a great charge to get to Darlington just before he got that ball off.
Part of the reason why is the pressure the Hilltopper defense brings on. Eric Gray and Mike Jones are the ends. They average 6'3", 240. Snyder and Basil are the tackles at 6'3", 230 and 6', 220 for Basil. The linebackers, Mike O'Connell and Jason Buss, are the outside backers. They will line up on the line as defensive ends, and Trenner and Rampa are the inside backers. It is 4th down, and a punting situation. Punting the ball up is Mark Barnes, and taking it from the 37 inside the 50, and he's to the 47-yard line. On the return for the Hilltoppers, Mike Freeth. And the Hilltoppers have the ball back, and they have stopped what they wanted to stop early. And that was the Morris passing game.
One of the intangibles I thought would be in the game would be the kicking game. In that time, Morris lost yards with only about a 15-yard punt per average on that. So right away, Catholic High is in good position to run their offense as they put in another new back, Lil Irby.
Back to throw is Nedlow, and he's got Freeman. He can't get it off his fingertips inside the 45. On the coverage for Morris, number 35 is Jeff Edwards, and Mike Green, number 30. There's Darren Freeman. He's a sprinter of his own, outstanding all-around athlete. He's caught 18 this year for 324 yards and 3 touchdowns.
Well, what has happened now, Catholic has got to get Allstott going. They ran and featured Holman in the last series. Allstott is the man that's got to carry that ball for the big gains in their offense.
James Irby, number 5, is on the tight slot, all side in motion, and he gets the pitch, cuts back, and he gets to about the 47, 46-yard line, maybe a pickup of 1 yard on the play. Big number 63, Aaron Acree, along with his left side mate, Craig Newman, in on the stop for the Morris Redskin defense.
Well, the big thing you have to look at is you see Coach Stone very concerned about his offense right now as he's trying to run to the short side in the last 3 plays, running to his powerful right tackle.
3rd down and 9 for the Hillmen. from the 46-yard line. A long count for Nedlow. He goes back to pass. Looking for the screen, and he's got Holman, one man to beat. And he doesn't beat him. Brandon Steele saves the day with a big ankle tackle on big man Brian Holman.
And this time, the official was in the way. He kind of shielded both men that time. And what happened was, you see the linebacker we call a lazy linebacker, who just sits in the zone. That's his man. He got it. He made a good shoestring tackle to stop Holman from making a first down run.
A 4th down and 6 for the Hilltoppers, and that will bring on their punter, Jeff Bonebrake. Deep is Edwards at the 10-yard line. He gets the punt off in a hurry. Edwards charges and will take the ball there, and he is hit solidly. Number 74, Paul Kinsella, 6'3", 250-pound senior, makes a great suicide squad tackle.
And we see heavyweights. As Bonebreaker makes an excellent job of picking up the ball on the bounce. Not a good kick, but great coverage and a tremendous hit of knocking him sideways on that. Two big heavyweights just trying to feel each other out, just punch each other around. They have to get that ball up in the air, I think, to be successful, though.
Morris is back on offense, 1st and 10 from their own 21-yard line. 2:30 left in a scoreless first quarter in this 4A playoff opener between two unbeatens, ranked both 1 and 2 in the state of Illinois in some polls, but there is a penalty flag on the play. We want to remind you, we've got college football coming up on Continental Cablevision right from here, Joliet Memorial Stadium. This Saturday, November 3rd, the #1 team in the nation in NAIA Division I football, Carson Newman, will be in Joliet to take on NAIA Division II foe, College of St. Francis. You'll see that game Saturday evening on Continental Cable TV. Dave Douglas, one of the defensive coaches for Joliet Catholic, down on the sidelines going over matters with his defensive starters. With the penalty against the Hilltoppers, it's 1st and 5 now for Morris, and they give it to, on the play action, they throw deep, but nobody there in the zone. The intended receiver was Jason Biano, number 11. There you see Jason at 6'1", 175. He's caught only 3 passes this year, but 88 yards and a touchdown. That's a 29-yard average per catch. So they may not come often, but when they do, they count for something.
Well, look at that defensive line chart. 94, Big Steiner, and 77, John Horn, both stand 6'4", 6'5", 6'6" area, came in and just smashed Darlington on that play. If they keep getting back there in the backfield, Darlington's going to have a long afternoon. And it's going to have to have a long afternoon for the Hilltoppers to win and shut his arm down.
Morris averages to 430 yards in offense per game, and that's one of the reasons why the stop made by number 45, Mike Freed, as Nasser Baptiri, number 32, finds what the Hilltoppers can do on defense when he gets the ball his first carry of the game.
Well, he's a dangerous back, great speed and great cutback ability. And in this, a great tackle to prevent his head from making that first down. And what we're seeing is excellent tackling, that they're taking the ball carriers and knocking them backwards, preventing them from making that plus yardage that they need for first down.
Double tight ends and a full house backfield for Morris on a 3rd and 1.
He got it.
Off to Baptiri, and he's thrown for a loss. Number 44 is Greg Trenner, the inside linebacker. He's had 8 solo tackles coming into the game. 6'2", 214, and he throws Jeff Edwards for a loss.
And we see the great tradition of Catholic High linebackers going back to Louch and Rumpra and now Ostrowski. And then here comes Tranter, a great tradition, a great linebacker hit on that play.
And instead of a first down, it's 4th and punting for Morris.
They block
his punt. The punt's blocked. It's picked up in the end zone. It will go still in the end zone. Touchdown. No, safety. It is ruled a safety by the backfield judge. Chasing it out of the end zone was Pete Carroll, who tried to get a hand on it. He couldn't. Mike Freet finally got a hand on it in time for the safety, but let's watch the block by Scott Wang on the top of your screen.
And Wang comes in, an all-out effort, getting his hands in front, blocks the ball. A great chance to score early. He fumbles the ball, and it goes just out of bounds. A great effort by number 45. But the Hilltoppers have scored, and the crowd is going crazy, as well as the Catholic High offense on the sideline. A great break. Now they have to score. They've got to come back and score. And the big thing is, the Morris defense is on the field. The longer they're on the field, the tighter you're going to get. Why? Because they're taking 6 guys or going both ways, while Catholic's only playing 2 guys. The difference will be in this weather later on, going into the 3rd and 4th quarter.
And of course, with the safety and a 2-0 Joliet Catholic lead with 46 seconds remaining in the first quarter, the Catholic High offense will get the football back.
And that's the key. They have, again, a chance to make some more points or put the Morris offense in a deep territory.
And on the sidelines is our Mike Zaworski.
Well, Mac and Joe, before that block punt, I had sat in on the defensive huddle of Catholic High, and Coach Terry Bender was very happy with what his players did. And right now, he's even happier with what the players did after the block punt. Back to you guys.
Of course, the defensive coordinator for Joliet Catholic is my partner's brother, Corey McLaughlin. He's in his 11th year coordinating the defense for the Hilltoppers. Terry Benter, Barry Dean, also defensive coaches for Joliet Catholic Academy. Deep is Darren Freeman. Here's Barnes' kick, and it will be Lynch at the 22. He's got some room to run across the 35 and hit there at the 37-yard line and rolled out of bounds. Coming up to make the stop was Edwards and number 84 Morris, Ron Thomas.
As we look back on that play of that safety, how close were the Hilltoppers scoring 6 points off of that? Will that be a big point in the ballgame? Right now, they're leading 2-0 with a chance to go up with more points with this offensive drive. The longer they take the ball.
The Hilltopper offense averaging over 375 yards per game. We told you 280 of those per game are on the ground. They've got it 1st and 10 from the 37. Nedlow goes to the air, and it is tipped partially and goes incomplete. I believe number 64, big Craig Newman at 6'3", 265, may have gotten a finger on that pass.
Nedlow is maybe too short to throw over that huge Morris defensive line. He might be better with a rollout with some play-action fake coming to the sideline and throwing on the run where he can see his targets as they move down the field. Coach Stone has that in his arsenal, so we'll look for him to make that adjustment.
35 seconds remain in the quarter. 2-0 Joliet. 2nd and 10 from the 37 on the trap. Inside is Lynch. He gets across the 40 to the 44-yard line. It'll be a pickup of about 7 yards on the play. We'll bring up a 3rd and 3 for Joliet.
And again, inside trapping to play. The big left tackle comes down, blocks the linebacker inside, and he makes about 6 or 7 yards. Again, we're waiting for Allstuff. I'm waiting to see Allstuff do his stuff. They talked about how great he is, and I think pretty soon we're going to see him break one off here.
An equipment problem being taken care of at the line of scrimmage. And that will allow the clock to run out here in the 1st quarter. We have come to the end as the crowd on their feet on the near side of the field. Joliet Catholic on a block punt into the end zone. Leads after 1, 2-0 against Morris. We'll be back with the 2nd quarter of our JCA football playoff opener after this Game of the Week timeout.
Sister Pizza, it's a cold. What's the matter, you? You like a cold pizza?
Oh, no,
Here, try it.
It's hot.
It's hot. What's the matter, you? It's a pizza by Marcelloni. You like a cold pizza?
No.
Pizza by Marcelloni is made of fish. Everything is a fish. It's good, no?
It's right.
It's a pizza by Marcelloni. Hey, I thought you eat it so fast.
Marcelloni.
The best in community sports you can't beat. Local cable programming. TV that hits home.
As we go into the 2nd quarter of play, it's 2-0 Joliet Catholic Academy leading Morris in this 4A playoff opener. The handoff for the Hillmen to Jim Lynch from Nedlow, and he gets close to midfield at the 48-yard line. And that will be a 1st down Hilltoppers.
And they just keep punching the Morris line out right now. What they're doing is just battling force against force with short trap plays. Somewhere along the line, they're trying to think of setting something up with the rollout with Nedlow spring to the corner because the Morris defense keeps getting tighter and tighter from their end position.
1st and 10 Hilltoppers from their own 48. Moving from our right to our left here in the second quarter. Nedlow looking long. He's got bone break and just overthrows him inside the 20. Darren Freeman was also open deep in the middle of the field, but the ball just overthrown, and there's Bob Stone's reaction.
Well, he had 2 men deep that time and plenty of time to sit in the saddle and watch. The ball just a little overthrown. Bonebreaker complained to the back judge that he got slightly pushed on that, and he looked like he did as the defensive back pushed off. A great play by the defensive back because he didn't get caught, because that was a touchdown throw.
Bonebreak comes off the field. Chris Allen, the 6'2", 215 senior, number 80, brings the play in from the sidelines, replacing Bonebreak at the other wideout. Of course, they are always tight in most formations for Joliet. And the handoff is to Alsad, and they are keying on number 40, Mike Alsad, and he is stopped cold at the line of scrimmage, possibly a pickup of a yard.
Great tackling by number 43. He just banged up in there, just came back from his line with Brandon Steele. We've heard his name time and again on that defense because he's the big man for this defense right now. With their top linebacker out, he's picked up the 4 for him and doing an excellent job of preventing the long round.
At free safety, Steele, who, by the way, is the nephew of one of the defensive coaches and head baseball coach at Morris, Denny Steele. Brandon comes in and he blitzes a lot. That's why we've seen him back there. Nedlow throws. He's got Bonebreak inside the 40. It's first down through the air for Joliet at the 39-yard line.
And now we see why Nedlow has about a 60-point average score that time. He had an excellent, again, great time sitting in the saddle. Looks back and see Bonebreaker coming across the middle. Plenty of time to throw. Throws a strike. Bonebreaker makes an excellent catch with the defensive back hanging on for first down yards. And again, a key. Bonebreaker knew how many yards to get. He went down 10. He only needed 9.
Coach, I know you'd like to think it is a bone breaker, but it's bone break, and right now he put on the brakes just in time to get in front of that secondary man. He made a nice move on the play to bring the pass in. Here's Alsat, but he is bold, and guess who brought him down? Brandon Steele again.
Well, if there's one outstanding player that we've seen on the Morris side, it's been 43, Brandon Steele. You know, he's made tackle after tackle, which is really important because he's a safety. If he's keep coming up, look for something, play action again, coming down the middle again with your tight end or the back through to be wide open because he's coming up for play action every time.
A standing room only crowd here at Joliet Memorial Stadium. Mac, I have a feeling a lot of people of all ages are playing hooky from their responsibilities for this big game this afternoon. Second down and 6 from the 35. Nedlow to Freeman. He's got some blockers inside the 30. He busts his way to the 26-yard line. First down, Hillman.
Yeah, they got a break that time because Freeman was in motion that time. He took a step, being the in on the end there, but a screen pass to Freeman, who has great speed and size at 6'3", 185 pounds. Excellent basketball player also. Looks like a great offensive weapon there for the Hilltoppers. And again, he was covered by number 43, Brandon Steele, but he's got to give Freeman room because he's got great speed on the outside.
First and 10 for Joliet. Inside the 25, they go right side and maybe a yard or two. The ball carrier's home. Brought down by Steele again. Also in on the stop is number 35, Jeff Edwards, and number 50, Steve Reitz.
A great defensive strategy of the Morris part. The Hilltoppers cannot find number 43. He's playing left end, right end, linebacker. He's playing free safety, strong safety. They're putting him all over the field in particular situations and formations.
Morris coaches looking on at their defense, who faces 2nd and 8. Nedlow back to throw. He's got Freeman in the end zone. Touchdown, Hilltoppers.
And the beat goes on. They're ready. And now you see the crowd just going crazy. Everybody's on their feet. We have over 5,000 people on this side, and they're going crazy as the Morris crowd is stunned by what happened on the replay. A great pass reception as Freeman was wide open. Again, a low play action, drop back. You can't cover Freeman one-on-one with that great height and speed he has for a high school split end.
The extra point attempt by Bonebreak is up, and it is good. And with 6, make that 8:51 remaining in the first half. It's 9-0. Joliet Catholic Academy leading Morris on a 24-yard touchdown pass from Jason Nedlow to Darren Freeman, and this is how you run a post pattern.
This is a great play as Coach Stone comes up with the great call. We talked about going across the middle, trying to get away from Steele. This time, Nedlow sitting back there. 1, 2, 3, 4 seconds. There's a strike down the middle as he's way deep in the end zone with number 35 trying to cover him, hanging out about 4 yards behind him. Great throw, great call. That's how you win football games. But the game is not over. Morris is a great talent, one of the best teams in the state, if not the country. So they have the momentum to come back. The Catholic High defense has to stand strong and do the things they've been doing in that first quarter.
Morris, one of 2 high school football teams in the state of Illinois, ranked in the USA Today top 25. East St. Louis senior, number 1 in the country according to the USA Today. But there's 6A. There's Corey McLaughlin. There's your little brother.
Little brother. Gee. he got all the food when we were at home, I can tell you that.
A lot of people asked me before the game, Mac, who do you like here? Who do you think's going to win? I told them if I knew, I wouldn't be here. But one thing I did feel strongly about, if Joliet Catholic were to win this football game, they'd have to get a lead early. They have accomplished that. We'll see if the rest plays true to form. Here's Edwards, great speed, breaks 1 tackle. He's trying to get in the inside. He's across the 40, the 50, and finally bowled out of bounds at the 45-yard line.
And again, they come back with a great offensive weapon. The kickoff return and knocked out of bounds by Chris Bassell.
Jeff Edwards has 4.5 speed in the 40, and he showed right there how you can turn it on if you get a few blocks in the front of that kickoff return.
He was brought down that time by a 6'1", 222-pound defensive lineman, so he's got great speed also.
A 53-yard kickoff return to the 45. It's 1st and 10. The pitch off to Bapteri, and he is stopped by Mike Rampa. Rampa, the inside linebacker at 6'2", 210 pounds. 22 tackles coming into the game, and he's got another one to his credit. But credit Tom Snyder, number 94, put a lot of pressure coming in on the inside, and that forced Bapteri to cut back inside, and guess who was there to meet him? Mike Rampa.
A great name, a great tradition, Rampa to Rampa. We've had great Rampas before, the outstanding talent at Joliet Catholic and at the university.
Rampa to Rampa sounds like a kid's game, but I'll tell you what, these kids are playing a man's game out here today. Ed Rampa, the outstanding linebacker for the College of St. Francis, a former All-Stater here at Joliet Academy, and thrown away to Bapteri. John Horn was the man who brought the pressure on, along with Snyder, number 94.
Talking to my brother last night, he came over for a big conference. I don't know if he wanted to get ideas from me, but one of the things he wanted to do was get Horn off the ball. Horn is a great talent at 6'6", 250 pounds. It's hard to contain him, and especially with the Bear defense he's running. He's running a 4-6. He's charging all the time and forcing. He wants to play aggressive defense at the line of scrimmage.
John Horn at 6'6", 250. He can be imposing, as Division I scouts will tell you. It's 3rd down and 13. Here's the screen being set up. Horn the pressure. It's incomplete. Again, John Horn, and this time his mate, Chris Basile, come in and put the pressure on Darlington to hurry his pass. And Terry Benter, proud of his defensive team's effort out there for Joliet Catholic Academy.
And the defensive game plan right now is really clicking. He's getting a great rush from his front 4. That means he's got 7 men to drop back deep. That screen pass was covered by 3 defensive men on 1 offensive back. Again, great notation that it was a screen by that Catholic High defense.
Mark Barnes in again to punt. He'll be punting from about his own 45-yard line. Freeman deep to the near side. Preet deep to the far side. No rush. Everybody is standing still at the line of scrimmage to set up their blocks. Freeman thrown down by number 50. Steve Reentz makes the stop on the specialty teams. Freeman does not get much of a return of about 3 yards to the 25. And with 7:40 left in the first half, a 9-0 Joliet lead over Morris. The Joliet offense is back on the field.
And Joliet has to keep controlling the football, not only with the passing, but keep that ball in their hand. The longer they keep that ball going down the field offensively, you're putting more pressure on that Morris defense, and you're getting them tired. Remember, these young men are all 220, 230, and 240. That's a lot of weight in this great heat we have for this outstanding day for football.
1st and 10 for the Hillmen from their own 25 out of the double slot. In motion is Alcett. Back to throw is Nedlow, looking for Holman. Instead, he finds Freeman across the 35 to the 37-yard line. It's a first down, Hilltoppers at the 37.
If the Morris defense does not put any more pressure on Nedlow than that, he's going to sit back there and pick them apart. He's got a great percentage for completions, especially on the short passes. That time they had Holman swinging down the sideline. The linebacker took him, but Freeman came in the open spot, and Nedlow saw him all the way.
Joliet averages just about 96 yards in the air per game this year. One thing Bob Stone wanted to do was mix that more into the offense here today. He has done that well. Here is James Irby at 5'5", 165. A little scat back, gets to the 40, a pickup of about 4 yards on the play.
And James Irby has come a long way. Last year as a junior, he played sporadically and did not have a great season. He put himself on weights and worked real hard. And the coaches think he's just done a great job of coming back and being able to rest Allstott and Lynch with Irby coming in. They don't lose much with him in that backfield.
Not only is he 5'5", that 165 pounds Irby's on. As you look at Dan Darlington and his staff on the far side of the field, Max Wright, it's all muscle. And here is Alstott. He busts through across the 45. Very close to another first down.
And again, the weapons that they have, Allstott has not been used, has not been featured in this offense yet. But again, the potential he has causes that Morris defense to always look for him first carrying that football. That opens it up for Holman and Irby and Lynch.
Bob Stone, a former great offensive lineman at St. Francis de Sales High School, and then later Eastern Illinois University, where he played defensive line. You know, I didn't realize it, but Bob played baseball when he was in high school. And of course, where else with that big rangy frame of his? First base.
At first base. Well, Bob Stone's done a great job. I remember when he was a wrestling coach, he was a fine gentleman, had some good personnel with him, and then he switched to the football and became head coach. And the Catholic High Hilltoppers have not missed a beat. They have really come on year after year with a fine program led by Coach Stone.
First down for Joliet Catholic from the 46-yard line, just across the 46. 6:30 left in the first half. Joliet leading Morris 9-0. Out of the single setback, the handoff is to Holman, and he bruises his way to midfield, brought down by number 64, Craig Newman. Newman is an outstanding shot put specialist in track and field for the Morris Redskins. Most of the Redskins, as well as the Hilltopper players here, are two-way athletes, many of them playing two ways here in this ball game.
And that's going to hurt down the line because of the great heat we have and the amount of pressure that they're giving out there and being on the field for such a long time.
Second down and 7 from just inside the 50. Nedlow back to throw. He's got time. He over the middle. He's got Freeman. Intercepted by Al Johnson. Johnson intercepts off Freeman's hand at the 38-yard line, and the Redskins get their first break of the game. There's Al Johnson, and he's getting the congratulations from teammate Greg Gallo.
That time, Nedlow forced this ball in. He had plenty of time to look for an open receiver, forced this ball in, and a great interception by number 61, an outstanding linebacker to get back there deep with his size.
Johnson got it off the tip, and down in the field is Mike Zaworski.
I'm talking to Catholic High coach Bob Stone before the game, and one thing that he said he couldn't let Morris do, Catholic High's defense couldn't let Morris be unpredictable. In other words, Morris will run on first down, pass on second down. They changed it up. So far, Catholic High's defense has got it done. They haven't let Morris be unpredictable. Back to you guys upstairs.
Dan Darlington and his offensive coaches with running back Jeff Edwards taking a play out of the Gillespie playbook on that trap, and the Hilltoppers cover up, but a good healthy gain of 5 yards out to the 43-yard line. It's 2nd and 5. It'll be a slot back to the near side, and Darlington, the quarterback, singles set back, and they give it to Edwards. There's a flag at the line of scrimmage, however, as Edwards gets it across the 45 to the 46-yard line.
Usually that flag coming from the line judge on the side is an outside penalty against someone lining up in the zone, and we have a motion penalty being called against the Morris Redskins.
You see the stars on the Morris Redskin helmets. They are like game balls, and for outstanding performances during the course of the year. And considering Morris this year had such an outstanding season, you can understand why they have been able to put those kind of points on the board. They gave up an average of less than a field goal per game to their opposing offenses this year. That went up a little bit after Wabanzi Valley scored some points on them in the season finale, but that's quite a football defense Morris has had, and the offense is averaging 45 points a game, but they can't do it when they've got a rush like that. Number 94 is Tom Snyder, and he is jacked up with that sack.
And one of the great things you'll see on this replay, if we have it, look at number 75. He's lined up as a defensive end. He comes, he's blocked, he comes around the block, and he and Snyder, two formidable forces. We're talking about Denton Armstrong coming in from the outside, pinching Darlington in and not allowing him to set up. He has to start looking for those defense lines. And Catholic High hasn't used their greatest force. That is the shooting linebacker. They haven't blitzed but twice in this ball game.
A loss of 10 yards on the play. It is 3rd and 20 for Morris. Single setback on the draw to Bacteria. He is smothered for a loss of 2. At the 26-yard line, again, it is Greg Trenter comes up from his middle linebacker slot and makes that stop along with Snyder and O'Connell. And the Hilltoppers force a punting situation for Dan Darlington on the far sideline as Dan talks to his son, John, coming off the field.
He's got to be concerned. Right now, the Hilltoppers are going to go for the block. They put them in deep position. They can afford with the long distance, even to hit the punter in this situation. Almost got it.
Low end over end punt. Freeman from the 48 tries to get outside. He is stopped there at the 49-yard line. Gallo and Brandon Steele again. Stop number 24, Darren Freeman, at the 49-yard line. And so with 3.5 minutes left in the first half, it remains Joliet 9 and Morris nothing.
And let's talk about the quality of both sides. What a great football game. Both sides very intense, hard-hitting. We have not seen the over-aggressiveness or the flagrant violations that you have in some games. These guys are well-coached, well-trained, and have a great forte about winning football on both sides.
Jason Nedlow, the quarterback. The single setback is home, and the trap play is smothered at the 49. Johnson comes up to make the stop along with number 47 and number 64, Newman. Eric Eglin, number 47, in on the stop, and coming in is Chris Allen with the next play for Joliet. A loss of 1 on the play.
They've got to make sure they don't turn this ball over. Last time they had a drive going on and got an interception. This time, he still has to throw the ball. He still got confidence in Netlow.
On the draw, almost a missed handle, but here's outside. Breaks for the outside inside the 30, the 20. He's going to go all the way. Touchdown, Joliet Catholic. Touchdown, Hilltoppers.
And there's Coach Stone, just great. Again, listen to that crowd, and they're just going crazy. This is what football is all about in high school. They've got over 5,000 people on one side who are just going nuts. This is a crazy place and just a great run by Allsop. We said before, when is he going to do? When is he going to break? And he did. As the extra point is blocked. But a great effort by the offensive line and open up that seam for Allsop.
This is how off-tackle football is to be played. A bit of a delay on the handoff. Allsop breaks one tackle, makes his move outside, and he puts it on and burns it for the long run. Mike Green couldn't catch up to him, and Mike Allsop goes 52 yards as the Hilltoppers take a 15-0 lead with 2:26 left in the first half. Let's go back down to the sideline to our Mike Zaworski.
This morning I had a chance to talk to ex-Catholic High coach Gordy Gillespie about this game, and he was very excited about it. And when I talked to him, he felt the final score would be around 21-20 either way, whoever could win the game. What's interesting about that, I talked to Coach Bob Stone. He agreed. He felt the score would be in the 20s for both teams. This one's a long way from over. Back to you guys.
All right, it is a great job down on the sideline by Mike Zaworski. Of course, he's best buddies with Gordy, so it's good to get his insight. Coach Gordy Gillespie led Joliet Catholic in 26 years as their head football coach to 5 state football championships and domination in the late 70s, early 80s. Of course, Jim Boyder got a championship here in his 2 years as head coach, and then Now in his second year, Bob Stone seems to be heading in that direction. But as Matt McLaughlin cautiously reminds us, and I think accurately so, there's a lot of football yet to be played. Here's the reverse, and it's Baftiri from the 8-yard line. He's across the 30, the 40, and it's Bonebreak who finally brings him down at the 47-yard line. We will be back with more exciting high school football playoff action from Joliet in just a moment.
Where are you going?
Something I gotta do, Ma.
Feel the power. Vote, America.
With your pledge, every ball I kick, every point I make, can help 63 million people, like Vanessa here, to fight heart disease and stroke. Make a pledge and give to Kevin Kicks for Heart. Kick in and help. Call the American Heart Association at 346-4675. Together, we'll reach our goal.
WCTV Channel 15, your channel for exclusive sports, public affairs, and special event coverage.
Joliet leads 15-0. Morris has the football back after a long reverse kickoff return to midfield. And then Morris came right back with a little bit of a reverse flea flicker of their own. We'll take a look at that in a moment. The ball was fumbled, but Morris recovered. 2nd down and 10 for the Redskins from their own 48. Out of the shotgun is John Darlington. He throws, has a receiver. It's Brandon Steele to the Joliet 48-yard line. A pickup of about 3 yards. Let's go back to the play you missed during our commercial break. And here's the trickery, the tomfoolery that Dan Darlington will bring into his offense.
And this is the one thing Coach Mack wanted to get away from. The Darlington tomfoolery, you called it, with that little pitch. Almost got a fumble recovery off that, but he's dangerous because you never know what he's going to do out there.
It's 3rd down and 7 to go. Darlington on the rollout, has time, throws long. It's a duck, and it will go down incomplete. Somebody got a hand on either Darlington's arm or the football, but that duck went up, and I was just waiting for a shotgun to go off.
Well, again, the rush, he was not rushed as much as he normally has been rushed throughout today because Horn's not in there. He's back in there now, but he's so aware of the guys coming in from Catholic High that he set up too soon and threw the ball away because he had no receiver. Again, a 4th down play, and Catholic may want to put a return on this time.
Mark Barnes is the punter. Deep is Darren Freeman at his own 20. And here is the fake. It is fumbled. Edwards has the ball. He is dangerous, and he picks up the 1st down. It is a broken play to the Morris, or rather to the Joliet 40, brought down there by number 45, Mike Preet. That's how dangerous Jeff Edwards can be as he's looked after on the far sideline.
Well, you see the ball being snapped back, and a fake snap, giving the ball to Edwards short, and a missed tackle on the sideline, and Coach Mack is over. He just went nuts on that play as that defense was supposed to make that play as he is planned and looking for some foolery from, again, the Morris offense. They have to do something big to get back in this ball game before the half is over.
Going to the bag of tricks, successful here for quarterback John Darlington and his players. And there's some confusion down on the line, and apparently John Darlington, the quarterback, is asking the referee about the marking of the football. It is an official timeout with 1:02 left in the first half. 15-0 still in favor of Joliet Catholic.
And again, the awareness of John Darlington. That time when he went out of bounds, he went into the chalk. The ball was covered with chalk. Rather than having that ball snap when it was slippery, he noticed that even though the center was over the ball and said, hey, timeout, let's wipe that ball out. We see Coach Mack, who's a little upset on that one play, and he'll talk to them a great deal about that at halftime.
A heady quarterback, John Darlington's got a clean football, and the handoff is to Edwards. Stopped there by number 44, Greg Trenter. And also in on the stop for the Hilltoppers, number 94, Tom Snyder.
They've got to put that ball up in the air because they know they've got to get something going for that second half and end this first half with a high note. And the Catholic High defense is aware of that as they're trying to put more and more pressure on Darlington and those flying backs. He's got to control Bacteria, a great running back who's always dangerous no matter where he's at.
Second down and 10 from the Joliet 39. Back to pass is Darlington. He is being pressed. He flips the ball over. That is an incompleted pass. A forward pass, incomplete. The pressure by Snyder and by number 43 coming in there, Mike Rampa, also putting pressure on Darlington.
And there's a leak in the dike as we see the Catholic High defense just pouring in there. And then he makes a play that could have cost him by trying to force something in. At this time, he should just come out of this ball game. I'm down 15-0. The game is not over. We still got 30 minutes to play. But we still have a big play coming up for that Catholic High defense and stopping them as Darlington comes up to the line of scrimmage.
What I liked about John Darlington is he tried to get the ball to someone. That almost worked, believe it or not. Here's the handoff to Bacteria. He beats a wall of brown and gold.
And again, time after time, if you want to know it's a great play, just listen to the crowd. It's just difficult to try and talk over them as they're just screaming every time there's a play. A great tackle, Trent Trenter and Mike Rumpa, two great linebackers right now, playing a tremendous football game as the crowd goes nuts as the halftime ends.
The Morris Redskins walk off the field as Mark Barnes doesn't get his chance to punt. And the crowd here, 9,000 plus at Joliet Memorial Stadium. We have come to the end of the first half of this 4A playoff football opener. It's 15-0 Joliet Catholic Academy with the lead over the Morris Redskins. We'll be back with our halftime festivities after this timeout on our Channel 15 high school football game of the week.
Fact, we're into the football season and the Chicago Bears are storming through the Midway. Fact, there's a new weekly television series providing fans with a keener insight into Bears football. Fact, the program features Tom Thayer and Mike Tomczak, and each week they'll be joined by a Bears teammate. Fact, it's shot on location at TNT's restaurant in Joliet. Bear Facts, join us every Wednesday at 6:30 p.m. on WCTV Channel 15.
The events that make your community special, only on local cable programming. TV that hits home.
All right, we're down on the field here at the track of Joliet Memorial Stadium. We're at halftime. It's 15-0 in favor of the Joliet Catholic Academy Hilltoppers. Their lead here over the top-ranked Morris Redskins is giving all the championship caliber of excitement that we had expected this game to be. But as Mac McLaughlin, my analyst up in the booth, has warned us, there is an entire half of football yet to be played. But what is halftime at a high school football game without the essence of Americana, a great high school marching band? So why don't we take it upstairs and take a good look, a sound and listen to the outstanding Morris High School Redskin Marching Band. Now you look better.
Thank you.
Did I bring you one? Come on,
Hey, what's high school football without a great marching band? Gives you the atmosphere of a great college football game. And, of course, you may remember Tom Horn, the former head coach and athletic director at Joliet Junior College, now the head football coach over at Valparaiso University. He's got a bye, so why not see some good college high school football players who might be college football players very soon. Your impressions of the first half, Tom?
Well, Joliet Catholic really is stunning them up front defensively, and Morris can't do a thing offensively, and Joliet Catholic is banging heads up front. They've got about 5 or 6 kids we'd like to get, you know. So it's a really good high school football game.
Well, you know, of course, the man who succeeded you, Joe Redmond, picking up right where you left off, really bringing a lot of credibility to the Joliet Junior College football program. You, of course, have quite a test in front of you at Valparaiso, a lot like you did when you came here.
Yeah, the program's been down for a long, long time, 15, 18 years. And it takes a long time, as you know, Joe, to turn the attitudes around and get it in a proper perspective. Our kids right now, we're not winning a lot of games right now. We're playing a lot of freshmen and sophomores. We start 1 senior and only 4 juniors. The kids really play hard. They're really excited. We've got a lot of Joliet area kids on our football team, and it's going to be a great program down the road.
You keeping the pipeline open between Joe Redmond and other junior colleges to feed Valparaiso?
No doubt. We've got 2 kids right now from Joliet Junior College playing for us, 2 from Moran and 1 from DePage. So we've got 5 kids we took out last year out of this league.
Tom, great to see you again. Say hello to the wife and the kids. As always, he's always got his cowboy boots on when I don't. Tom, good to see you again. I'll let you go.
Thanks a lot, Joe. Appreciate it.
All right, we are at halftime, 15-0 in favor of the Joliet Catholic Academy team, and it is a ball game. Stay with us. Mac McLaughlin and I will be back with the second half of our high school football 4A playoff opener between Joliet Catholic and Morris in just a moment.
Mr. Pizza, it's a cold. What's the matter, you? You like a cold pizza?
Oh, no,
Here,
no.
try it.
Oh, it's hot.
Cold, it's hot. What's the matter, you? It's a pizza by Marcelloni. You like a cold pizza?
No.
Pizza by Marcelloni is made of fresh. Everything is fresh. It's a good, no?
Right.
It's a pizza by Marcelloni. Hey, how come you eat it so fast?
Marcelloni.
Okay, what's the ideal peak to valley on a 32-amp cascade? 4.2 decibels. Yes!
At Continental Cablevision, we send our people to school every year to make sure you get the best service possible.
Yes! What's the average level behind a customer's TV set? 0 dBmV. Beautiful. Last question. What is the most important component of the entire system? The customer. Ready, let's go to school.
Continental Cablevision. We're #1 because we make you #1.
As we open up the second half of football, the IHSA football playoff opener for these two 4A powerhouses, Joliet Catholic leading the Morris Redskins 15-0. Joe Passion back with you, along with Mac McLaughlin. The scoring summary in the first quarter. Joliet Catholic scored a safety with 46 seconds left in the quarter when Wang blocked a Morris punt into the end zone. It went out of the end zone. Joliet Catholic led after 1 period, 2-0. In the second quarter at 8:51, a 24-yard touchdown post pass pattern to Darren Freeman from Jason Nedlow made it 8-0. The point after kick by Jeff Bonebrake, 9-0 Joliet Catholic. Then with 2:26 left in the half, a 52-yard run, broken off tackle by Alsott for Joliet, made it 15-0. The point after was blocked, and that's where we stand after one half of play. The winner advancing on to Saturday, round 2 of the IHSA playoffs. The Morris Redskins feel their banner, their flag tells a story. They are not about to fold it up. And I think, Mac, you've talked about a whole half of football yet to be played. I would be very surprised if Morris comes out and doesn't play more impressively in the second half than they did in the first half.
They've got to pick up their intensity. I'm sure Coach Darlington at halftime in the locker room came up with one of his intensified speeches to his kids to try to get them back in frame. telling them to realize you're 15-0, we're scoring. We can score. We have the weapons, and right now they know the first 5 minutes of this half may tell the football game, as Morris has to do something with that football while they have it in their own territory.
Bob Stone, whose halftime rhetoric is usually more direct and to the point, and of course Dan Darlington, a very emotional, and he's got quite a halftime spat. We'll see what it does for Nasser Baftiri, who returns the fake reverse kickoff return out to the 34-yard line. It'll be 1st and 10 for the Morris Redskins, who will start the second half. Same starting lineup you saw in the first half. John Darlington, the coach's son, will be the quarterback, backed up by Edwards and Baftiri. Ray and Viano, along with Brandon Steele, are the ends. The front line, Murphy is the center, flanked on his right by Johnson and Newman, on his left by Acree and Fabella. Morris in their white jerseys, the maroon and gold trim. The pitch out is to Baftiri, great speed, but he cannot outrun number 93, Chris Basile, or number 90, Mike Jones. Jones was the man who got his hand on the ankle. That front line of Joliet Catholic, Gray and Jones at the ends, and Snyder and Bassel are the tackles. The outside backers, O'Connell and Buss, who will line up as defensive ends often, and Trenner and Rampa are the inside backers. The defensive secondary quarterbacks, Pete Carroll and Scott Wang, and Mike Brett is the safety. A loss of 2 on the play. It'll be 2nd and 12 from the 33-yard line. John Darlington calling an audible from the line of scrimmage. Full house backfield. The handoff is to Baftiri. He's got an opening. He's across the 40 and finally dragged down at the 47-yard line. A penalty flag on the play, but Nasser Baftiri has come to play.
And what we see was a change of play at the line of scrimmage. Darlington automatic found the weakness, hit Baftiri off the right tackle position there, and just stormed through a big hole. And again, Catholic High, one of their bad moves they've had in this half is that they got a cheap penalty that time by piling on and trying to be over-aggressive on that play.
Baftiri, who has rushed for 1,177 yards this year in 133 carries, has scored 19 touchdowns for John Darlington and his Morris Redskin offense. And with the penalty, it'll be a 1st and 10 Morris from the Joliet 37-yard line. Full house backfield again. And the handoff is to Edwards. He is through the hole inside the 15, the 10, the 5. Touchdown Redskins. 37 yards on the playoff left tackle for Jeff Edwards, his 3rd touchdown of the year.
And this time we see the Morris side just going crazy over there as they finally get a chance to put their cheers in. And Jeff Edwards made a great play that time. A missed tackle by the defensive end who had him in his sights, let him go, and that's all you needed. One missed tackle, and there's a beat with that 4.5 speed. And now Morris has gotten back in this ball game in a big hurry.
15-6 the score. Barnes' kick extra point is good. And with 10:27 on the opening drive of the second half, Coach Dan Darlington and his Morris Redskins are back in the game. And you can see it by how his talk to the sideline. They are leading, or trailing rather, 15-7. Down to the sidelines, let's join up again with Mike Zaworski.
I talked to Joliet Catholic Academy coach Bob Stone on the way out of the locker room at halftime and asked him, Coach, second half, what does your squad need to do? And he said, the same thing as the first half, but the 2 things we need to watch are the special teams play and watch the trick plays to Morris. We have to contain them. Back to you guys upstairs.
Nothing tricky about that offensive series you just saw by Morris. They just ran the ball up the gut and scored on a 37-yard off left tackle run by Edwards. The extra point by Barnes, it's 15-7. Joliet still with the lead, but obviously their wake-up call has been wrong.
And again, the intensity just picked up the level as we see the blank looks on the Catholic High Hilltopper defense, as they know as Coach McLaughlin is down there screaming at them, trying to get them back in the context of this game.
Your brother never screamed at you, did he?
When he wanted to, he's big enough.
Here is Lynch. He's across the 30 and out to the 33-yard line. He is brought down by number 57, Paterno Girani. On the play, making the specialty teams tackle for the Morris Redskins. Joliet Catholic's offense, led by their quarterback, Jason Nedlow. The fullback is Brian Holman. Jim Lynch, the tailback. Mike Alsett, the other halfback. Jeff Bonebrake, Darren Freeman are the wideouts. And that front line is big. Rob Aspalak is the center. Brent McGraw, Eric Gregg flanked on the right side of Aspalak. And Schmidt and Horn on the left side. 1st and 10, Joliet from their own 33. In motion is Ersby. The handoff is to Alsoth, and he gets across the 35 to the 37. Tripped up there by Brandon Steele, coming in from his safety position. The Morris defensive starters, that 5-2 front line. Jason Saunders is the nose guard. Newman and Fabella are the tackles. Acree and Gallo are the ends. Raints and Johnson are the linebackers. Thomas and Green, the corners. Steele and Edwards are the safeties. What they've been doing with Al Johnson, who is listed as a linebacker, he has been playing up on the line most of the first half, and again we see him lining up there. Steve Rentz has been somewhat of a middle linebacker with Jeff Edwards coming off along with Steele playing outside linebackers, strong safety cornerbacks. I guess you could call them rover backs. They're all over. Here's the handoff to Ersby. Cuts inside. He's to the 40. Stopped there by number 30. Coming up is Mike Green to make the stop along with Brandon Steele.
And that time, by using Irby on a deep reverse in the backfield, they made good yards that time. We had a helicopter hovering over the field. We thought maybe somebody might fly one of their big players in from somewhere. But the Hilltoppers have to continue to control this ball on the ground to take that momentum away from the Morris Redskins.
TV highlights of this game will be seen on the Chicago television stations, and I'm sure someone had a very bright idea to come out and get an overhead look of this 9,000 plus, maybe 10,000 fans here at Joliet Memorial Stadium. But of course, the only complete play-by-play from top to bottom coverage is right here on Continental Cable Television. Our next high school football game of the week may come Saturday night, depending upon the IHSA pairings following today's action. We are scheduled to televise College of St. Francis against NAIA Division I top-ranked team Carson Newman Saturday afternoon here. Should the logistics be available to us, we will televise a Saturday night high school football game as well. If they do not, look for us the following Saturday night, and again, question marks, as they say in the business, to be announced. And
a big play, 4th down in inches in their own territory, and Coach Stone looks like he's going to line his players up to go for it. Look for Big Holman if he can get off the mark to make this first down with his 235-pound frame blasting off tackle with Big John Horn leading the way.
Joliet Catholic was successful on 2 of 3 4th down attempts in their first series of the game. Their third attempt that was none successful gave the ball back to Morris. 4th and less than a yard. They give it to, I believe Holman was the ball carrier. And it is a first down, Joliet Catholic, depending, of course, on where they will mark the ball.
And that's a big pileup. A lot of young bodies down there trying to prevent those guys from making that first down.
And it is first down, Joliet.
A key play. That first down keeps the ball in Catholic High's hand as they give it to their big, strong fullback who just plows his way. He was stopped the line of scrimmage, but he had the force behind him with those driving legs to move off for another half yard and getting a first down.
Brian Holman, who went through Stapleton Junior High, also a baseball player. His favorite class in school is religion, and he is playing religiously tough here this afternoon, getting the ball, helping on the block this time, and the Hilltoppers get the ball to midfield. Outside is the ball carrier on that one.
And again, a short trap up the middle with all-stop in motion is a very dangerous weapon because they're afraid of the counter play with Irby out there on the wing. They don't want to throw that ball up yet, but they want to control it and run that clock out. Get the Morris defense back into their own territory.
Mike Alside out of St. Mary's Junior High School is also
a
baseball player. Nedlow goes back to throw. He's got Freeman, and it is tipped on a great defensive play in the backfield by Edwards. Edwards saved Joliet Catholic from getting a touchdown.
And we have a flag in the backfield on that play.
It is a penalty against the defense, a personal foul, roughing the passer. And although the pass was deflected by Edwards, the Hilltoppers will get a gain out of the incompletion.
And let's go back to John Edwards. A great play by a fine junior cornerback who was on the far side of the field, saw the ball down the middle and raced over and made a great leaping knockdown of that pass, which could have gone for a touchdown. But the penalty, again, was in Catholic High's favor as roughing the passer was called, and the ball was moved down to the 35-yard line.
Edwards, who has 4.5 speed in the 40, runs the 100-yard dash, 100-meter dash in 10.9 seconds. He can fly. Got to that ball in a hurry, but it's 1st and 10 Joliet from the Morris 36. Here's Ersby. He gets about 3 on the play. Broken up at the 28-yard line. Stopped there by Johnson.
And we see the size of little Irby that time. They ran another counter trap play off the tackle coming back through there, and Irby had a little seam, made 4 or 5 yards, but he got smacked by the middle linebacker coming up to fill that hole.
Jason Nedlow, 5'10", 170-pound senior, has passed 50 completions this year for nearly 1,000 yards. His pitch out is to Alstott. He's got a block inside the 30, the 25, 20. Turns it out inside the 10. Touchdown, Joliet. Touchdown, Hilltoppers.
Alstott lines up deep in the backfield. The pitch by Nedlow, he's about 10 yards, makes a great cut here and just outruns. Again, we talk about Edwards and his 4.5 speed. John Alstott at 6'1", 195 pounds, just raced down that sideline, and everybody in the stand is on their feet just screaming again. A great run.
Ryan Bloom is the holder. Bone Break's extra point kick is good. And with 6:52 left in the third quarter, it's 22-7. Joliet avenging the score earlier in the quarter by Morris.
And just 2 great offenses and defenses. These kids are just playing their hearts out. And this truly is quality football by quality coach teams. And it's a shame that at the end of this game, somebody's going to go home and put their gear away. But it is just a tremendous play. This young kid, Alstott, is just showing his stuff. And they say he may be the finest tailback to play for the Hilltoppers. He's got a lot to go. But right here, he demonstrates not only great speed, but great diversity when he runs and the all-out effort of diving in the end zone. This is what high school football is all about. The crowd, the excitement, everything going on to make this a classic football contest.
They call Alstott Coco, and he really stirred the drink on that last play, a la Bo Jackson, his idol. 22-7 in favor of Joliet. On the sidelines is our Mike Zaworski.
And talking to a couple officials down on the sidelines that'll be working the Lamont Luther South game tonight, and I asked the guys, I said, how does this game rate up there with the excitement-wise and everything else? And they said, hey, this is great here. The only thing that really rivals this is when you get up to Chicago in the public league, where you get teams like Mount Carmel and St. Rita playing. The adrenaline, everything, the excitement down on the field is just tremendous. Back to you guys upstairs.
Mike O'Connell makes the tackle on Baftieri at the 34-yard line, just short of the 35. With 10,000 people, or at least nearly that much here at Joliet Memorial Stadium, many people like yourself, Mac, brought up the memories of 10, 20 years ago when Mount Carmel would be here and bringing 10, 12,000 fans against Joliet Catholic teams.
Great time for football, and we're going to relive that today.
The handoff is to Edwards, and he is met at the line by number 43 for the Hilltoppers, Mike Rampa, who makes the stop.
And the Catholic High defense, again, they've got to come to the last huddle they had. Coach Mack just started screaming at them somewhat to calm them down and say, hey, we missed one tackle. That doesn't matter. What we have to do is come back and make quality football, and that is play your position. Don't try to do over what you have to do. Do the things you can do, and the 11 guys work together as a team.
Less than a yard gain on the play out of the full house backfield, which is something Morris did not run out of in the first half. An audible called at the line of scrimmage by Darlington. A man is offsides, and the penalty goes against the Redskin offense. Well, that is, of course, one of the problems when high school teams try and run audibles, although A young man that can run it well is John Darlington of Morris, but one of his linemen went off just a little bit before the ball. I believe it was on the left side of the line.
Well, trying to make those calls, you've got to get them going. You've got to let everybody know with this great crowd and all the noise, sometimes the kids can't hear, and their attention span is short when they're thinking about the snap and what they're going to block.
2nd and 15 from the 20. Here comes everybody. The pitch out is to Bafteri, and it was O'Connell that tripped him up, and it was Trenter that buried him at the 18.
And again, a classic football game with classic tackle as they tried a little off-tackle play isolation with a pitch to the tailback, and just great hitting by the linebacker and the defensive end as Trainer came in to clean that up. They're playing a heads-up, all-out football game on both sides of this field. Right now, Catholic's doing the most to dominate the game.
John Darlington, who has run for only 38 yards in 17 attempts this year, has passed for over 1,400 yards. And
Fumble.
He pitches this out. There's a loose ball, a large pileup, and the Hilltoppers have the football. Number 94, Tom Snyder, comes up with the fumble, and the Hilltoppers have their first turnover, and it's Hilltopper football, 1st and 10 from the Morris 18.
3rd and long, they run an off-tackle play that time, and Bafteri never had the ball on the handoff. Darlington tried to get to him. He never got possession of it and dropped that ball in the Hilltopper defense with opportunity in their chance, just pounced on that ball to give that offense great field position. And again, anything can go now. You can run play-action fakes, counters, or run that big fullback up the middle.
I believe it was Edwards who fumbled the ball, and now the Hilltoppers go all the way. Wow. Intercepted in the end zone and wisely down there by number 80 for Morris. And the ball changes hands in a hurry. Ron Thomas makes the stop in the end zone.
And this play will come back, and the coach will look back and say, you know, what happened? But he gambled. Hey, nothing hurt, nothing harmed. He went for it in the first down. But again, what Netlow didn't do, he didn't span the field. He isolated on Freeman all the way down the field, and Freeman was double covered. He should have thrown that ball away, but shoulda, coulda. The ball's intercepted. Now they can rely on that great Catholic High defense right now. They've got to come back. You had him in the hole, could have put him away that time.
That was Ron Thomas's 3rd interception of the year, Mac, and he was all over that ball, double covering Freeman in the end zone. Another audible calling at the line of scrimmage. Darlington hurries, broken play, and it's an incompleted pass.
And Darlington, the young quarterback, is screaming at his end that he's got to turn up the field because he was covered, double covered on the sideline. You see the agitation and anticipation that these guys are going through. They're so hyped up and into this football game that they're going to do a little screaming and yelling, but he has to. He's the leader of that team. He's got to yell.
Greg Ray was the intended receiver for Morris. Both teams 9-0 in some statewide polls, 1 and 2 in Class 4A. Morris is top ranked, but they trail 22-7 with 4:17 left to go in the 3rd quarter. We have a timeout on the field, and time to remind you here on Continental Cablevision every Monday night from 6 to 7. It's Inside Local Sports, an hour of sports talk magazine programming live from our Channel 15 studios in Romeoville with host Frank Vance. Here's the counter, and it's to Bafteri. He's open across the 30, the 35, 40. He busts his way across the 45 to the 46-yard line.
And again, we see the explosiveness of Nasser Bafteri, one of the fine tailbacks in the state of Illinois, as he just broke that off tackle and just sprinted down the line and carried ball carries with him. Just a straight counter play inside. Good block there. Great running that time, and a game-saving or a touchdown-saving tackle by number 21 to slow him up, and the rest of the crowd brought him down.
Bafteri, who runs the 40 and 4.5, over 1,100 yards gained this year on the ground. 1st and 10 for Morris from their own 45. Here's Bafteri again. He was hit first by Trenner, and then everybody else came in and covered up. Eric Gray in on the stop, along with Mike Rampa and Mike O'Connell.
And when they go into what they call their diamond offense, Coach Mack says that, you know, they're giving that ball to that tailback, and he has Trenter coming, keying on the tailback, coming in wherever he goes. That middle linebacker, Trenter, number 44, is right on his heels.
Trenter out of St. Joe's in Lockport Junior High School. He loves accounting. He likes to hit the books. He obviously hit the playbook this week because he's been hitting Morris a lot. The pitch out to Baftieri. He's inside the 50, breaks one inside the 45, and he literally ran over number 45, Mike Preet. Baftieri may not only be quick, but he showed he's got some upper body strength, as Mike Preet will attest.
And the Morris Redskins are not going to quit. They're not lying down. They're coming back, led by Baftieri, who does a great job, just runs over the defensive back, smashed him, and goes down further, as Chris Bastille will say, hey, I met number 35 that time, and he won. Maybe he'll get a second chance.
Bastille with the tackle after Preet was beaten, and it's 1st and 10 Morris from the Joliet 42-yard line. The second half picking up on both sides of the football. Out of the eye, it is Baftieri. He's inside the 40, tries to cut outside, and Mike O'Connell makes the stop. O'Connell, a 6-foot, 180-pound senior, making that stop, and that really saved Baftieri from going outside. And that kid gets outside, and he is nothing but trouble.
He is gone. He's got that great speed. What they're doing now, they're attacking the flanks, running away from those big linebackers, but who's not in the ball game is John Horn, as he's getting a rest. But look for him to get back in this ball game real quick.
Second down after a pickup of 6, 2nd and 4, and again the audible being called out of the full house backfield. The ends are tight. 2-step, 3-step, 4-step drop back. He's got a man open inside the 35-20 and stop there. Number 3 is Greg Ray, and he was wide open. And all he could do was turn around, and the secondary had to catch up. That brings the Morris fans off their seats.
Darlington calls this audible at the line of scrimmage, and what happened, the play action, the cornerback was looking into the backfield rather than covering his man, as he was wide open, as somebody miscued on what they were supposed to do and their responsibility on that play.
Made the tackle, and I like the sidearm motion of Darlington. That allowed him to throw the ball because the Hilltopper defensive front was all over him with their arms up. 1st and 10 for Morris from the Joliet 15. It's Baftieri. He was stopped for a loss of 5. Chris Bastille, the junior, at 6', 220. He had 22 tackles coming into the game, Mac, and 8.5 sacks. He shows how he can penetrate the offensive line by stopping Baftieri for a 3-yard loss.
Well, what we've seen is great speed on that defensive line and linebacker position. But what Darlington has seen now, he saw the opening where he can throw the 2-step drop, which Coach Mack was worried about. The 2-step drop is the one big play that's hard for them to defense.
The pitch out to Baftieri. He gets to the 10-yard line, back to the original line, or rather to the 15, to the original line of scrimmage. A pickup of 3 on the play. O'Connell again over there making the stop with Greg Trenner.
And right now, the Catholic High defense looks a little tired out there. They're not coming off the ball with that assertiveness that they had in the last series of down, with Baftieri really getting a chance to explode and getting off the blocks. You've got to get your hands on him before he gets into high gear.
All the Joliet Catholic players filled out player bio cards for our telecast, and almost to a man, when I asked what their major goals were this year, 2 words: win state. 20 seconds left in the 3rd quarter. A penalty flag from the secondary, from the back judge.
Delay of game.
Against the offense, delay of game. The Morris Redskins, who won the state championship in 1984 and again in 1980, they beat Harrisburg 40-0 in 1980, and then in 84 knocked off Bennett 36-14, have also been semifinalists 3 times. 79, 83, and last year when they won that lost that exciting overtime finale to Richards, the 2-time defending 4A state champions. Richards, of course, the team that knocked Joliet Catholic out of the playoffs last year. They'd like them back. Here's the throw to Ray. He is topped at the 15. Back again to the original line of scrimmage, stopped by Scott Wang, the 5'8", 160-pound senior for Joliet.
And again, the great pass rush by the Hilltoppers come in as halftime, or the 3rd period comes to an end with the Hilltoppers up 22-7.
We have come to the end of 3 quarters of play, and the grandstands are on their feet. It's Joliet leading Morris 22-7. We'll be back with the final period of this Class 4A football playoff opener after this Game of the Week timeout.
Miranda Francisco, perhaps the most remarkable dancer in the world. She once suffered hundreds of seizures a day, but thanks to an operation performed at a Children's Miracle Network hospital, in which the entire left side of Miranda's brain was removed, she now walks, talks, and even dances, pretty much like other kids her age. And if you don't think that's remarkable, we have half a mind to tell you otherwise. The Children's Miracle Network, it's working wonders.
For a whole variety of reasons, that type of a solution is totally unacceptable to the people in this county.
Of course, the gang violence in the city of Joliet has increased recently, so that's the worst part of it.
Go to the Kankakee River for water. We have met those tests.
Could you talk briefly about what's the economics of that?
As we open up the fourth quarter of play, taking care of business, we are unable to show you a 37-yard field goal by Mark Barnes of Morris that has brought this game just a little bit closer as Barnes talks to his head coach, Dan Darlington. 22-10 now in favor of Joliet. Dan Darlington with a very interesting background of his own. He's a Morris graduate, class of '69. All his assistant coaches played on the same football team as they did in high school. He's been the athletic director since 1983. In fact, as a basketball player in high school, Dan still holds the high school record at Morris for most points scored in one game, 50 points. His son John says he's going to break it before he graduates. That means he's going to have to do it this season. He's a senior. The run back by Lynch out to the 23, stopped there by number 80 Thomas, but there is flag on the play. There may be a face masking penalty. Down on the sidelines, let's join up again with Mike Zaworski.
I was just listening in on the offensive huddle for Joliet Catholic Academy. Coach Dave Douglas talking to his team. In this possession, he said, we are just going to run it down their throats, run it down their throats, and run it down their throats some more. He said what we really need to do is get a solid push from our offensive line forward and go from there. Watch for Joliet Catholic Academy to not pass the ball at all. Just run, run, run. Back to you guys upstairs.
The clipping penalty against Joliet Catholic will put the ball back at the 12-yard line. It'll be 1st and 10, the Hilltoppers from the 12. Joe Passion here along with Mac McLaughlin and our high school football game of the week, and it has been promised a dandy. Is this indeed the moment of truth? It's the fourth quarter, folks, so I guess in a sense you can't call it that. Unlike the promotional cliche they called the big fight in Vegas last week, I think it really counts here, Mac.
It does, and we see the heavyweights coming out. And Dan Darlington has come up with this game plan. He's taken the opportunities he's been given. That field goal puts him back in the ball game. They're 12 points down, but there's still 11 minutes to go. And with the Catholic Hilltoppers in a deep, deep hole on their defense, their offensive side, they've got to bring that ball out and get some first downs.
After a gain of a yard, it's 2nd and 9. The pitch out to Alstott. He's got a blocker. Holman outside. He's across the 15 out of bounds at the 21-yard line. Great balance along the near sideline. Allowed him to get a few extra yards. And that is very close to a Hilltopper first down, but short by about a yard. But they will bring the chains out.
Watch this play. This is great athletic ability. Not only is this young kid aware of where he's at, but he's trying to make yard. He puts his hand down and stretches out and almost makes that first down. A great athletic attempt by young Alstott. He may be only a junior, but he's running like he thinks Walter Payton is his nickname.
Jason Nedlow comes back to the sidelines to discuss strategy with the coaches. Nedlow has been a pattern of consistency all year as you look at the chains, and they are short by about the length of a football. Nedlow at 5'9", 155 out of St. Ray's Junior High School, also plays tennis. I hope he doesn't hurt that shoulder here in the playoffs. And he is among the who's who in the High School National Honor Society. Ned's is quite a student.
Well, if you're going to play quarterback for the Hilltoppers, you have to be smart because Coach Stones throws a bevy of things that you have to take in and then crank it out when you get out there on the football field. Big play. Third down and short.
Third down, less than a yard. The ball at the Joliet 22-yard line. The handoff is to Alstott, and he's got the first down. He stretched just enough to get the first down off left tackle. He followed this Pollock and Schmidt and Holman through the hole, and Alstott picks it up. First down, Joliet.
Second effort again.
I'm a little concerned, though, about Nedlow. The players' major goals writing down on their cards they handed to us. I mentioned earlier, most players said win state. He included in his, and meet Dashing Joe Passions. Obviously, his goals are not real high.
Oh, he's got a great fan. You've got a great fan there.
This handoff, this time fumble, but Alstott holds on. The fumble actually gained him another 2 yards across the 30 to the 32-yard line.
And again, they give him that ball to their bread and butter play, and Alstott makes a great second effort to get that ball back. He was through the line and was breaking on this play. Just a straight-ahead smash play, following his big tackle. There you see him stretch out to get that ball back.
Steve Reens, the linebacker for Morris, is the man who stripped that ball clean, but Alstott got it back. It's second down, a pickup of 7 on the play, 2nd and 30 from the 31. The handoff is to Ersby. Ersby keeps his feet moving and stretches for a first down across the 35.
And Irby has done a great job filling in for Lynch, who we haven't seen in the last 2 quarters. For some reason, maybe he's injured on the sideline, but Jim Lynch has not been in there, and Irby has come in and done an excellent job of making that first down. Again, another second effort charge to get a first down for the Hilltoppers.
James Irby out of Dick Dirksen Junior High School. They just call him Corsi. He was the student of the month back in September. He keeps this up. He may be the player of the month. Here's Ersby again. Uh-oh, he is stopped at the line of scrimmage, and they'll call the whistle. Up for the stop is number 47 for Morris, Eric Eglin. Eglin has been an outstanding junior backup linebacker, but he is getting a lot of playing time today because of the injury to former starting linebacker Todd Henley. Henley injured his lung, or rather injured his kidney, in the win over Waubonsie Valley in the regular season finale that wrapped up the Little Seven Conference title for the 4th year in a row for Morris. This is the Redskins' 8th playoff appearance, 8th season that they've been in the playoffs in 14 years under Dan Darlington. But Alstott is doing his darndest to make sure they go no further than this game.
If I had an all-star and all-state vote right now, this young kid, Alstott, would get it. Because right now he's playing the ball game of his life. He's played like this consistently throughout the year with over 1,000 yards gaining. We see his 2nd, 3rd, and 4th effort as he just drives the ball, and it takes more than one man to bring this fine young man down.
Well, with Irby called Corky as his nickname, he's kind of a little stump of a cork kind of a kid, and Coco, who's been stirring the drink, in Alstott. In fact, Alstott is split wide to the far side of the picture, top of your screen. You can just see his ankles. And the handoff is to Corky. He's inside the 50, the 45, 40. Inside the 40, the race. He's going to go all the way. Touchdown, Catholic. Touchdown, Joliet. 53 yards for James Corky Irby.
Listen to that crowd. This is what it's all about in high school football. Young Irby will make his dad proud and his mom on this play as he bursts through that line, sees an opening, and turns on the juice as he has one big guy to make him miss, and he does. He goes in, and you see the jubilation, the jumping up, the joy of scoring a touchdown. Anytime is a great joy, and Irby just did a great job to nullify that field goal that the Morris Redskins had coming out of their own possession.
Ryan Bloom on the hole, bone break, kick is up, and it is good. With 8:10 left in the football game, Joliet Catholic is causing many of the Morris fans to leave the stadium. It's 29-10, Joliet.
And we said we'd bring you a state championship quality football game, and we have. If you watch this replay, you'll just see time after time on any of the plays that you've seen today, just outstanding football. At this time, the Catholic High Hilltoppers are just pouring it on with their great offensive weapon. The Hilltoppers just doing things right. When the offense gets on the field, as we see again, Irby blocking on the line. Look at the great hole he has, a great seam there. One missed tackle, and then he turns it on. He just runs like he's meant for this touchdown as he goes in there with Freeman being his cheerleader. He'll remember that play.
Well, you know the so long cheer. It may not have originated in Comiskey Park, but I'll tell you what, it is loud and clear, the message to Morris from the fans of Joliet. And here's the fake reverse. It's Baftieri. Baftieri tripped up outside the 30 by number 91 on the stop for Joliet Catholic. Check that, number 81, Bart Allen, the 5'9", 172-pound senior, makes the stop on Baftieri. 8:04 left in the football game. It's 29-10 Joliet, and we have a timeout on the field.
You may ask, what can you do to improve the Catholic High Hilltoppers? I'll tell you one thing they'll do in the gym. They'll go back, and kickoff returns will be stressed this week. They'll be, if they win this football game, you won't see that happen again to the Hilltoppers.
That has been where the biggest gains for Morris have come consistently today, is on kickoff returns. The pitch out to Ray. He's got some blockers in front of him across the 35-40. O'Connell catches up with him at the 50 and finally drags him down. And there, again, a great example of how quarterback John Darlington, if he is in trouble, he, like his dad, just pulls up the sleeve, finds another card, and passes it out.
I think this is a set play. He has this is his safety valve, number 3. Now, the way he gets it may be a new development, but when he does get it, Ray does an excellent job of moving that ball down the field. And those fans from Morris, you better come on back. This ball game isn't over. There's a lot of football time left.
From the 50-yard line, just inside the hash mark, Darlington backpedals. He's in a hurry. He's got Baftieri across the 45, inside the 40, the 30, and knocked out of bounds by Preet. I'll tell you, these two have gone up head-to-head today. Joliet Catholic and Morris and Baftieri and Mike Preet have really had some solid hits today. Preet was buried by Baftieri one play earlier in the game. I think Mike got a little bit back on that tackle there.
Excellent tackle, but again, this is you get Morris down. Now they're going to throw that ball in the air, and that's what you don't want. You don't want to give them time to sit back and find an open receiver.
No huddle for the Redskins. No time to do such things. It's 1st and 10 from the 27. There's a flag on the play and an incompleted pass.
Might be offsides on the Hilltoppers that time. They had a little movement down the line. They made an adjustment on a stunt they had going on with the middle linebacker, Trenner, coming up the middle.
On Wednesday at Morris High School, prior to the team coming out here, the school got out at 10 o'clock in the morning back, and they had a huge pep rally in the gym. Much of the community showed up for that. The coaches and their captains talked. The band played. They got all psyched and came here. And I don't think that enthusiasm has rubbed off since that pep rally. Morris is at least not showing they've given up. There's 6:48 left in this game.
Well, when you get the ball in Dan Darlington's hands, if he's going to get the ball in his hands another dozen or so times, look out, because he can put that ball up and he can get a quick touchdown. So the defense has to stay on their PQs and play tough, heads-up, knowledgeable football and play their type of defense.
With the penalty against the Skins, it's 1st and 15 from the 32. In motion is Baftieri. He gets the pitch, tries to turn it back up, and is stopped at the original, or rather at the line of scrimmage. John Horn turned him up with the tackle along with Tom Snyder. Talk about that front line for Joliet Catholic for a moment. Eric Gray, who starts at one end at 6'4", 245. When he needs a breather, or the other end, Mike Jones at 6'3", 220. Who do they get it from? John Horn, the All-State offensive tackle, who's 6'6", 250. Snyder, 6'3", 230, and Chris Bazile at 6', 220 are in at tackles. Ball is fumbled, recovered by Joliet, and there's Mike Jones, comes up with the fumble recovery, and it's Joliet football at their own 42.
Well, opportunity knocks to those that make opportunities knock. and Dan Darlington comes out. He tried one, a deep reverse to the split end this time, coming around, and he just, we see Bacteria just dropped that football, and number 90 just pounces on that ball, Mike Jones, and giving the ball back to the Hilltoppers. Another defensive play. But one thing you look at, why is the defense, whenever they get in trouble, Coach Mack sends in Big John Horn, and at 6'6", 250, he does the job. He shuts them down and puts pressure on with the rest of that Hilltopper defense.
Second Morris turnover recovered by Joliet, and the handoff up the middle to Alstott, and he gets to about the 43-yard line, 44. They'll mark the ball actually at the 42, so less than a yard gain on the play.
As a coach, this is a nerve-wracking time. You have a 19-point lead with 5 minutes to go, but you want to get that 5 minutes off the clock, and you do that by maintaining ball control. You don't need another score. What you need is that 12th man, and that is the clock.
And certainly one of the strengths Joliet has had all year is running the football. Here's Alstott, busts through inside the 50, the 45, and tripped up by number 30, Mike Green. Green saved Alstott from going for another long touchdown run.
Well, we can't say too many accolades about Mike Alstott. He's shown that he is a premier running back, only a junior. Division I scouts are out here, and they'll look at it. Not only is he a fine running back, but he's an outstanding student with academics that'll make him a worthwhile candidate for any Division I team. Well, let's not talk about Division I. Let's win this football game, say the Hilltoppers.
The trap play to Alstott. He is to about the 36-yard line. A pickup of 4 yards. He just followed the center, Spolak, and Curly McGraw, the right guard, for a pickup of 5 yards on the play to the 35-yard line.
And what you want right now, not only want to win this ball, you want to come out healthy. You don't want to get hurt. We saw Michael Connell, the fine linebacker for the Hilltoppers, come out with a blow to his stomach. What you want to do is be healthy for your next football game.
The handoff again to Alstott, inside the 35, the 30, knocked down at the 28. First down Hilltoppers with 4:20 left in the game.
And again, that offensive line is coming up the ball, and they're just pounding the Morris defense, who have played a great game, but they've been playing both ways, many of them, as they don't have those fresh ball players, and missing their fine middle linebacker has shown that the Catholic defense or offense is on tune to what they can do right.
First and 10 for Joliet from the Morris 28-yard line. 4:10 left in the football game. Out of the I formation with Holman and Lynch is back in, and here is Lynch. He turns it up inside the 25 to the 22.
And look at number 74. We watched Lynch run through the line, but number 74, Paul Kinsella, what we call a pancake block. He just knocked the tackle down and just laid on top of him with a great Mansory-type block to open that big gaping hole for Lynch.
Darlington, the head coach for Morris, told me earlier in the week this will be the biggest game Morris will have ever played since 1979 when they beat Geneseo in the playoffs after Geneseo had won 3 consecutive state football titles. They did beat Geneseo in that game. They may not have the same opportunities here with 3:28 left in this one. Joliet and their fans enjoying a 19-point lead.
And the fans are going wild. This is just a fine display of offensive diversity by Jason Netlow and those offensive backs. All started out of the game. They don't miss a beat with young Jim Lynch in there carrying the load down the field.
The depth in the backfield offensively for Joliet Catholic has been one of their biggest pluses all year long. Nedlow, broken play, he's going to pay for it back at the 21. Coming up to make the stop was Eric Eglin, along with number 64, Craig Newman. And downstairs, in a massive euphoria, is Mike Zaworski.
We're up here with some pretty happy fans here right now. Hey, I have to ask you, who do you care to play, Rockton, Onondaga, or Rochelle? Who do you want to play next?
I don't care who wins!
It's Bedlam, Joe. It's Bedlam. Back to you guys.
I don't think they'd care if the Bears were next on the schedule.
They're ready.
Second down and 15 after the penalty, or rather after the loss, and this is Alstott, who is driven back to the 21-yard line. That'll bring up a third down, 2 losses in a row by the Hilltopper running game. Ball back at the 21 with 2:23 remaining in the football game.
Well, this is a good decision you're going to make by Coach Stone. Do you put the ball up and try and score? He has 2 plays. He can run off about 1 minute off the clock in 2 plays, and that is as good as a first down or a touchdown at this stage of the game.
3rd down and long. The handoff is to Alstott. He's inside the 20, the 15, the 10. He is to the 5-yard line, and a gain of about 17 yards on the play. Stay with us. We'll be back with the final 2 minutes of this football game in just a moment. You're looking at the celebration of a 7-yard touchdown run by Mike Alstott, and that is the nail that closes the coffin on the Redskins. It's 35-10 with less than a minute and a half to play.
Not only does this kid have great feet, but he's got great blocking in front of him, the big fullback and the tackle, and you see him just go in untouched. He's got a great smile on his face also.
Bone Break's extra point kick is up, and it is good. And with 1:25 left in the football game, this Class 4A playoff is almost come to a close, and the Joliet Catholic Hilltoppers lead 36-10 over the Morris Redskins, and it looks like we will have a new #1 ranked 4A team going into Saturday's 2nd round playoff game. But I guess once you get to this portion, the rankings don't mean a lot.
It doesn't mean anything. Right now, the next game you want to play is the game that you're going to win. It doesn't matter to Coach Stone and his players whether it's Hononegah or Rochelle, because right now they're just tuned up. They're doing the things that a well-oiled, fine-coached team wants them to do, and taking nothing away from Morris. Morris has been an outstanding team all season. Coach Darlington has done a great job. We see Mike Allstott's proud parents standing up there. Mr. Allstott spoke at halftime and said, "Boy, I'm nervous." I said, "Why should you be nervous? He's doing all the work." And he said he's sweating anyway.
Well, Mom's nervous and wiping away tears of joy as their son having an outstanding game here today. He's got a couple touchdown runs to his credit. Bone Break on the kickoff, and this is where Morris can hurt you. Doesn't matter the time. Here's the reverse. It's to Baftieri. He's along the far sidelines across the 25-30, still on his feet, and busted up by the Suicide Squad at the 34-yard line. Number 71, Tim Terrell, makes the stop along with, again, Bart Allen, and this crowd enjoying the view from upstairs as Trenner comes off. What a game the Hilltopper defense has played. You know, one thing I want to add here that Dan Darlington and I had an interesting conversation about, considering how the conversation always goes to this time of the year. Should the public schools and the Catholic schools be playing in separate divisions for state titles? Darlington says, no way. If you're going to win the state championship, win it fair and square, play it with all the schools in the state at your division. He's getting that chance here today. The pass is to Edwards to midfield. He is stopped there. The tackle made by John Bestasso. And another thing he added in that, he takes a great deal of pride, and he made this very clear too, I might add, as Dan Darlington said, you know, you've got to really respect the Joliet Catholic tradition and their success in football, but here in Morris, we take great pride in the fact that all our boys are homegrown Morris boys. We don't go to all over the state or the county or the south suburbs to get our students. We take what we've got, and we're very proud of what we've accomplished. And they have a great tradition to be proud of.
You're exactly right. I think Coach Darlington hit it on the head. To win the state champion, you want to win with the best teams out there on the field. And if they're the Catholic, then you just got, there's two things the public league has to do. You've just got to get better. You've got to sell your product and make it as worthy as the Catholic teams who have a chance to recruit, have a chance to bring kids from all out. But yet and still, if you have that quality in your own backyard, you get them out for your football team and make them champions.
Well, certainly the Hilltopper coaches over the years have done the best with what they've been given. The throw is to Baftieri inside the 35, buried at the 31-yard line. Coming up to make the stop for Joliet Catholic's defense was Mike Preet, along with number 32, Jason Buss. 19 seconds left in the football game. Stay with us. Our post-game coverage with interviews from players and coaches down on the field will follow the conclusion of this football game.
And
we suggest that you check your morning newspapers to determine where and when Joliet Catholic will play and who they will play after the outcome of today's first-round playoff games. Of course, we also want to wish the best of luck to other area representatives in the playoffs, the Lamont Indians, as well as the Bolingbrook Raiders.
And they have a big game tonight, Bolingbrook and Shepherd, and that'll be a fine display of two excellent offensive weapons there, and Webster from Shepherd and Dana Day from Bolingbrook.
Two of the premier running backs in Tyrone Washington. And Shepherd, of course, is the team that stopped Richards' 34-game win streak. Richards is in the hunt for a three-peat as 4A state champions, as are the Caravan of Mount Carmel in Class 5A. It's 1st and 10 Morris from the Joliet 31-yard line. 19 seconds remain. Darlington spreading his offense out and out of the shotgun. He goes back looking for Baftieri. Instead, he finds Ray at the 26. Stop there, the clock moving with 10 seconds left. And there is a timeout on the field with 9 seconds remaining.
Good question. Why timeout? Well, Dan Darlington wants to prove something to his ball players, that they don't quit. And he's going to play this out to the hilt. This is the last football game for these kids this year, and he's going to take them out and try to, hopefully they want to try and score a touchdown. It doesn't sit well with the fans, but when you have that philosophy at Morris that you want to go on top and be a winner, you can understand Dan Darlington's scheme of thinking of trying to get a touchdown on that scoreboard.
Two of the greatest Southwest suburban traditions in football meeting for the first time here today, Morris and Joliet Catholic. And, well, you can tell the Bearskins tell you about the Redskins. They are on their way out.
And as I see Coach Mack come out of the defensive huddle, he's screaming. He says, don't let them score.
2nd and 5. The crowd is with Coach Mack on that regard. And they're going into the end zone. Darlington throws it up into the end zone, and it is intercepted. And running out is Mike Creed. The clock will run out. The football game is over. And Joliet Catholic ends it on a high note with an interception in the crowd onto the field. They've won it 36-10. Joliet wins over Morris in the 4A state playoff opener. While you enjoy the post-game celebration, stay with us for the post-game celebration from our post-game show, and that follows in just a moment.
We're into the football season, and the Chicago Bears are storming through the Midway. Fact, there's a new weekly television series providing fans with a keener insight into Bears football. Fact, the program features Tom Thayer and Mike Tomzak, and each week they'll be joined by a Bears teammate. Fact, it's shot on location at TNT's restaurant in Joliet. Fairfax, join us every Wednesday at 6:30 p.m. on WCTV Channel 15.
For the best in community sports, you can't beat local cable programming. TV that hits home.
Morris Redskin head coach Dan Darlington called this the biggest game the school may have ever played in its history, but they fall to a very proud Joliet Catholic team, 36-10 in the 4A playoff opener. Joe Passion along with Mac McLaughlin, and Bob Stone is back. Biggest game in your head coaching history, certainly?
Oh, yeah, I'd say so. You know, the biggest one up till now.
Is this a ball game that you expected maybe to be closer than Morris gave you, or was your team just so dominating no one was going to play with you today?
Oh, no, I expected it to be closer. I expected to be some scoring, but I expected it to be maybe a 25-23 game or something like that. I thought both teams' offenses would score some points, but I think the block kick changed a lot of that.
Well, Bob, you know, what did you do in your offensive planning before this ball game? What did you want to stress to your team to do to control the ball and put that defense back in the goal line?
Right. You know, we wanted to be able to just run the ball. Even the first series where we didn't score, you know, we went down the field and we had the ball for quite a few minutes. You know, we came out the field and said, that's a great drive because that's what we want to do. You know, we want to keep our defense off the field, and we just want to do what we've done all year, and that was run the football.
You made it very clear also in the first half that you wanted to mix it up and pass the football and let Morris know that you were going to be able to go both ways with it. That proved to be real successful.
Oh, sure it did, because at the beginning of the game, our running game was 2 or 3 yards, maybe a 4-yard run. After we threw the couple passes, a quick pass to Darren, the long one to Darren, you know, they started having to respect that a little bit. And one thing they didn't is they play a lot of straight defense, you know, and so we went to our T formation, and you play a straight defense against that, you're outnumbered on the running plays.
Defensively, I thought your kids hit awful hard. I like John Horn, who came in sporadically, but anytime he was in there, he was an impact football player.
Oh, yeah, he definitely was. And I think John plays his best games against good teams and against good people. He played against some big people today, and he came off the ball today. He was an excited young man.
Your linebackers were in on a lot of plays as well, and what impressed me most offensively is, again, the depth at your running back core. Irby came in and looked like he should be starting for most teams in the state.
Oh, yeah, you know, Mike Allstott obviously has been, you know, the man we've gone to more than anything else, but Brian Holman's going to get us to 4 and 5 yards, and then James Irby and Jim Lynch, they're going to get 3, 4 yards and then pop you for 50 or 60, and they've both done that on and off this year.
What do you think your chances are of hosting another game here in round 2 Saturday night against the Rochelle-Rockton-Huntington winner?
Okay, I have to tell you, I'm terrible at this. I have no idea the way the brackets go, if we have a chance to be the home team or not. The only thing is, if we are the home team, it'd have to be a night game because the College of St. Francis plays in the afternoon, you know. So, yeah, I'd like to play home, but I wouldn't mind playing an afternoon game away either because college is here, it's supposed to rain, the field could be terrible, and it gets cold when the lights come on.
That's a very good point, something to think about. Bob, congratulations, a great football game here today. Thanks for being with us. All right, Bob Stone, the head coach of the Hilltoppers, and we'll be back to talk with a couple of the star players as our post-game show continues from Joliet Memorial Stadium.
I'm a little different than most people my age. Why? Because I like old movies. I like new ones too, but the old films are my favorite. Like the films I can see on TNT, the Family Channel and A&E. Great channels for people like me. I even like the colorized versions of my favorite oldies. I work part-time after school for my own spending money, so I don't have to sponge off Mom and Dad. And I throw in a few bucks a month to cover the cost of my own converter and remote in my room. I could go on and on, but you already know that cable television with Continental is one of the best bargains available today. I'll be going to college soon. I wonder if they have cable there. Of course they do. For less than 60 cents a day, doesn't everybody?
This is WCTV, Channel 15, serving the Will County communities with exclusive local programming.
With the first round of the high school playoffs behind them, the Hilltoppers have knocked off Morris, and now it's on to Saturday's game, which will be determined with the outcome of today's Rochelle-Rockton-Hononegah game. Joe Passion back with you, following the 36-10 win by the Hillmen over the Redskins. Quarterback Jason Nedlow and linebacker Mike Rompa with us to talk a little bit about, first off, the offense. And one thing Coach Stone mentioned to us, you went deep to Darren Freeman early in the first quarter. That seemed to spread out their defense quite a bit and gave you a lot more room to work with.
Yeah, I was getting great time because they were only rushing 4 or 5 people, and we just had everything picked up, and I was getting good time, and that also helped open up some holes for Mike and Brian and the rest of the backs to run through.
Do you think their defensive pressure really kind of fell off after you opened things up with the pass early in the game?
I wasn't really getting much pressure to begin with, but after that, I could see that they were concentrating more on trying to cover guys than they were trying to sack. I thought maybe after halftime they stepped in trying to rush it, but they just stayed in the same rush.
Well, one thing Mike and the mates on the defensive side of the ball did tonight is you guys brought it on, Darlington and Bacteria in that group. and really caused them to do a lot of things they didn't want to do early on. What was the key in focusing in on disrupting their offense?
Yeah, I tell you, we came out real pumped, and we just shoved it right back at them. We tried to power against us, and they just didn't have no chance. I mean, we just started out real strong, and then we kind of fell back a little bit, and we regrouped and we came back together.
And they came back in the third quarter with full house backfields and were able to get by the tackles and seemed like they got past the line of scrimmage, opened some things up for the speedsters, Edwards and Baftieri. What did you guys do to close it up later in that quarter?
Yeah, we had a couple calls that weren't fit for that set, and we regrouped and we recalled the calls and came out all right.
Have you faced two faster backs and maybe a more heady quarterback than Darlington and Baftieri and Edwards?
Well, we faced faster backs, but I think these guys could power the ball better. I mean, they had speed, the other backs we faced, but they didn't really have the power these guys had.
What impressed you most about the Morris defense today? You brought up a point before we went on camera about how they never let down, even though they were down by 19 late in the game.
Yeah, they didn't let down. They kept hitting. That's really the plays. The plays weren't done until the Morris guys really stopped hitting. We had some great power running with Mike Allstott and Brian Holman, but they still kept trying to come back, and they still kept coming hard.
Is this the best game you guys have played all year?
I think offensively this has to be one of the best against a team of this caliber. We played weaker teams, but I think against a team like this, we just had everything clicking. We had the passing game going and the running game going. Mike and Brian and James, they just did great jobs running the ball.
Same question, Mike.
Yeah, well, our defense, we played out real strong in the first half, like Chunner and them were blitzing real good, and then second half fell back a little bit. So I guess caliber team we played, yeah, I guess this is our best game.
One last thing, I know you don't know who you're going to play Saturday, but Bob Stone brought up a good point. You almost don't want to play here Saturday night on a cold night when it could be raining after a sloppy field once St. Francis and Carson Newman are done with the field. What are your feelings about round two?
Well, if it's away, it's away. I'd really kind of like to play in the day. I like playing in the day a little better because at night, if it is raining, it'll be twice as cold. And after the CSF game, the field's it's going to be really bad. And we can play away during the day on a fresh field. I think it'd be a lot better.
Guys, congratulations. A great football game against a great football team. Congratulations on the win.
I thank you.
All right, Jason Nedlow and Mike Rampa of the Hilltoppers. Mac McLaughlin and I will be back to wrap things up on this 36-10 playoff final over Morris in just a moment.
Dummy, you're pathetic. You little brat.
Child abuse is also known by some other words.
Jerk. You moron. You're so clumsy.
Words like these can hit as hard as a fist.
You were never born. I hate you.
What you say to your children can determine how they feel about themselves.
You slob. You're worthless.
And how they feel about you. Get the picture. Stop using words that hurt. Start using words that help. For helpful information, contact us.
Quality Control wants us over at Tower 5. They're upgrading reception again. Tower 5 is 517 feet tall, Ed.
At Continental Cablevision, we'll go to any length to make sure your picture's perfect.
I don't see those guys from Quality Control around, Ed. I do. You don't suppose they'll come down for this, do you, Ed? Do you?
Continental Cablevision, we're #1 because we make you #1.
This is WCTV, Channel 15, serving the Will County communities with exclusive local programming.
36-10, the final here. Joliet Catholic goes to 10-0 on the year, and now ranked #1. They proved it here this afternoon in Class 4A in this first-round playoff battle against formerly ranked Morris, who close out a tremendous season of their own at 9-1. In the second half, Joliet Catholic had to look at Morris from the backside. The Redskins really made a game out of it, and they started out early in the third quarter. A 37-yard run off left tackle by Edwards, the running back, made the score 15-6 after Catholic High had put up a shutout defensively in the first half. The point after kick by Barnes made it 15-7. And then later on, at 6:52 in the third quarter, a 32-yard touchdown on the pitch, right side sweep by Alstad made up for that. They came right back, and the Hilltoppers regained the lead at 22-7 and expanded on their lead, actually. That's how the third quarter ended. In the fourth quarter, Joliet Catholic had to look at a 37-yard field goal by Barnes on the first play of the final period to make the score 22-10. But that is as close as Morris got. With 8:10 left, a 53-yard play down the right sidelines by James Irby made the score at that point 29-10. And then with 1:25 left in the ball game, a 6-yard TD run by Alstott made the final 35-10 with the PAT 36-10. And although Joliet Catholic appeared to dominate, I really like Jason Nedlow's comment, you never saw Morris give up for a moment.
Well, they reflect their coach, Dan Darlington. And even in the last minute, you saw he called 2 timeouts. And people say, well, why did he call timeout? He wanted to play to the last moment. This was his moment in the sunshine. He had to go home a loser today, but his kids played like winners out there. They just met a better ball club today.
Well, you brought up some good points with Bob Stone earlier, Mac, about how the defense really forced their offense out of their rhythm and the things they wanted to do early. And that block punt early in the ball game shook up Morris, and after that they were coming from behind, or at least seemed to play that way.
2 big moments. The block punt, which almost was a score for a touchdown. They got the 2 points, got the ball back, and then when the score 15-6, Jason Alstott scores on a 37-yard run to put the icing on the cake. A great run, a great momentum. The crowd got back into the ball game. The defense, they just rose to the occasion, and time after time you saw Trenner and Rampa and the rest of that game just coming on playing great, great football.
And, of course, even at the very end, while Morris was looking to go out of here despite being in the loss column on a positive note, it was Joliet Catholic that closed out on a positive note. Let's take a look at the last play of the football game again, and starting from the line of scrimmage, John Darlington, the Morris quarterback, wanted to throw deep. He had only 1 play left. He wanted to go into the end zone, and he did. But there for the Hilltoppers was Preet, and he picked off the pass. He says, well, the clock's running out. I might as well run the football out of the end zone. He does. He gets it out to about the 18, 20-yard line, and then the celebration begins here at Joliet Memorial Stadium, and one that this crowd of 9,000 plus surely deserved.
Well, a great crowd. This is what high school football is all about. You got a great stadium, a great crowd, 2 high-ranking teams with great personnel, and it just exploded out here. Today was Catholic High's game. They won today. What would happen tomorrow? Nobody knows. Catholic doesn't really care. All they know is right now they're going to the next step for the state championship.
That next step will come Saturday, either Saturday afternoon in all likelihood in Rochelle, or Saturday night here, or check that Saturday afternoon. If they were to play in the afternoon, all likelihood it would be at Rockton-Hononegah. If Rochelle were to win, because it's a smaller school, they will probably come back here Saturday night. But again, check your local listings for that come Thursday morning. Our next football telecast here on Channel 15 will feature College of St. Francis against the #1 ranked team in the nation in NAI Division I, Carson Newman, on Saturday afternoon. That game to be played, to be seen here on Channel 15 Saturday night. The final score here from Joliet Memorial Stadium in the Class 4A Illinois High School Association football playoff opener, Joliet Catholic goes to 10-0 as they defeat Morris 36-10. Morris closes out their year at 9-1, and congratulations to a tremendous tradition at Morris, a real class outfit, great coaches, great kids, and a community that, like Joliet, really wraps themselves around their football team.
And we saw that. Thousands of fans came out today, afternoon ball game early. They came out and looked after their football team. Today they didn't have it, but that doesn't take anything away from Dan Darling and the great tradition they have at Morris High School.
All right, for Mac McLaughlin, I'm Joe Passion. We'll see you next for St. Francis and Carson Newman on Saturday, and possibly a high school football telecast come later Saturday night. Stay tuned to Channel 15 for further directions on our football schedule. Have a great week. The final score, once again, 36-10. Joliet Catholic wins over the Morris Redskins. Good night, everyone.
As a matter of fact, I'd love to give the scores of all 96 state football playoff games, but we just don't have time. I can tell you Richards Oaklawn beat Chicago King 25-8. Mount Carmel over Chicago Marshall 42-18. In fact, one of the few public league teams to win today, Simeon, which walloped Waubonsee Valley 54-29, and another public league team in white, Lane Tech. Seems like they play Evanston almost every year in the playoffs, and they couldn't stop Dante's Inferno. Dante Wharton, 59 yards for a score. He added another 19-yard run. Evanston won 22-8, but Lane Tech's Indians had the play of the game. Watch Henry Igavor of Lane Tech as he catches this pass. What an amazing effort. 1 tip, 2 tips, and he holds on for the touchdown. Lane Tech's only one of the game. They lost Evanston 22-8. Class 5A action, that's Highland Park in the white uniform. Zion Benton Zeebies are tough, but Highland Park was tougher as they win 20-14 up at Zion. And then an upset of sorts in Class 4A action. Morris is undefeated. They're in the white jerseys. They're going against Joliet Catholic's Hilltoppers. Nice catch by Darren Freeman 23-yard score, and Joliet Catholic just keeps right on rolling. The Morris Redskins are very tough, undefeated, ranked number 1, but Joliet Catholic really had it going as they win 36-10 over Morris. And in Class 6A action in the south suburbs, this is Homewood Flossmoor in the white.